going on, everybody? What's going on, Mama Sage? How you doing? Good afternoon. Good Sunday afternoon. It is nice outside. What's happening? What's going on, Melinda? What's happening? Good afternoon to all of you all. Hope all is well. You guys enjoy your day so far? Y'all, I slept in. Oh my goodness. I'm still sleepy. You guys know I was up for almost 2 days straight, pretty much, from having worked and then had to do a 12-hour shift on call with the weather. Kids go back to school tomorrow. And it is what it is. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe. For those who don't have to go to school and work, I'm so jealous. Oh man. What's going on, y'all? We got a show lined up, okay? So you guys know we've been starting into the series of Scientology. Um, I'm not gonna call it a church, I call it a cult. But that's just me. And let's see here. Someone sent me an email. Candace's sister-in-laws are in the Epstein files. What? Candace, you want these Epstein files released so bad? Her sister-in-laws? So, how many siblings does George have, y'all? This is something else. I'm just not seeing this email. You guys know when I get logged off last night after our show, at what, 2 something this morning, I went straight to sleep. You can't make this up. Okay, so we got to take a look at that. At 7 o'clock this evening, Deacon and I will be going live. Stay with podcast. Shout out to you, my brother in Christ. We will have a collab live this evening at 7 p.m. We did email and confirm that time. So I'm just gonna when he gets, I guess, get home, he will send me the link so we can have a joint live stream. Since this is his video that he did, he was talking to one of the audience members named Peter. So we'll talk about some Candace in that live stream. It's something else. But we got to get some Scientology in on this one though. What I may do, depending on how long these two videos are and the discussion and how it's flowing, I might drop the link for some of you all to come up, give me your thoughts. Those who have experience directly with Scientology, be able to come up. And if you want, it's no coercion, if you want to kind of be able to give your story and what you went through. So it's always good to hear from, anyone that was associated with this and they were able to get out. I do understand that with any cult, there's always a level of threat and danger to it, right? So if you do decide to come up and speak, you don't have to keep the camera on. You can change your profile name. The only thing I ask as part of my vetting is that I see you backstage. So when you come backstage, cut your camera on, introduce yourself, and then you can cut your camera off, and then I pull you on the panel. That's just to make sure you are a real person. You are who you say you are. That's for me in my vetting. But I do want you guys to be, comfortable and to be able to be, to feel more engaged and to be able to kind of give your side and maybe there's something you say that could help someone else. Who knows? This is a huge cult. They pretty much have Clearwater, Florida locked down. The police are even afraid of them there. That's how crazy this is. And they're international. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up some information or probably just watch like an intro video about, Scientology in general for those who are new to the channel or new to Scientology. We could get kind of an understanding of their origins, oh Lord, girl. Let's see here. Kind of like a little, what is it? What does it mean sort of thing? Something quick to kind of give an intro so that everybody can fully understand what it is. So Lots of videos out there too, lots of information you guys can look up. But we're gonna start off with this. I just did a quick search. Let's see here. This is Illustrate to Educate. Okay, we'll take a look at this one. Y'all good? I just want to make sure you guys are good. You guys are doing okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button as you come in. Engage in the chat. Keep it respectful. There are some people who have actually been through, you know, this cult and they've gotten out. Some that are still in it. So it's just unfortunate. Which what's going on, Mama Sage? Melinda's up in here. We partied too hard last night. I know, honey girl. I'm so tired. Oh, we had a good time. We had a good time. Linda said, "Why?" I'm not sure. You asking why? What? That's nuts. I hope you're okay. I hope you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, all. Hey, poetry princess. Hope everybody is warm. Cece said, "Here I am. Realtors here. Truth about that in Clearwater." Oh yeah, they're dominating Clearwater, you all. So while I get everything set up, let's take a look at this intro video here. This is from the channel Illustrate to Educate. I'll drop the actual video link in the chat so that people can just have a baseline understanding of it. And let's get to this. You guys put a one in the chat where you can see and hear. Let's go.
You might have heard of Scientology, but where did it start and what exactly do they believe in? Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman and welcome back to Illustrate to Educate. In this short video, we'll dive into a detailed explanation of the basics of Scientology, covering its origins, beliefs, texts, practices, and so much more. And if you find this video to be helpful, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Scientology is a modern religious movement founded by L. Ron Hubbard in the early 1950s. It presents itself as a religion that offers a precise path to self-improvement and spiritual enlightenment, using a structured system of counseling and self-discovery. While some view it as a genuine faith, others criticize it as a commercial enterprise or a cult. Scientology was founded by L. Ron Hubbard, an American science fiction writer and former naval officer. Before establishing Scientology, Hubbard wrote extensively in the science fiction and fantasy genres. In 1950, he published Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, which introduced his theory of the reactive mind, claiming that past traumatic experiences, called engrams, stored in the subconscious negatively affect present behavior. The book became a bestseller and sparked the Dianetics movement, which aimed to help individuals rid themselves of engrams through a process called auditing. After the initial Dianetics movement lost momentum due to financial and organizational struggles, Hubbard refined his ideas and formally founded the Church of Scientology in 1954 in Los Angeles, California. He positioned it as a religion rather than a self-help movement, granting it tax-exempt status and expanding its spiritual claims. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Scientology expanded globally, establishing churches and recruiting members. Hubbard developed new teachings, including the operating thetan levels, which claimed to unlock extraordinary spiritual abilities. The organization became highly secretive and controlled, leading to conflicts with governments and ex-members. In the 1970s, Scientology faced legal battles, including Operation Snow White, a covert program where church members infiltrated U.S. government agencies to remove unfavorable information about Scientology. This led to multiple arrests, including the imprisonment of Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue Hubbard. After Hubbard's death,
they infiltrated the government to try to clear out information unfavorable to them. Who does that except a cult? Churches don't do that. Regular churches don't infiltrate the government just because you don't want people to think anything bad about you. I mean, are you serious? I don't know average churches that do stuff like this. They may get like a little favor with the governor or the mayor or something, but they don't infiltrate the government just to go in and remove all unfavorable information about something. Are you kidding me? That's a cult. That is cult-like behavior. They care more about how people perceive them than anything else. What is their mission here? To get people audited all day? I mean, what is the mission? Y'all, this is insane. No church, no real average church goes through that length just to keep their good name out there, I guess. If people think you're bad, they think you're bad. It is what it is. Doing stuff like this, infiltrating our government to try to clear your name, makes things worse. It makes you look even more like a cult. You can't make this up. This is why the government needs to stop cozying up to religious leaders, so people who call themselves religious leaders. Because when stuff like this happens, it's like they don't know what to do with them. But yet, these people who did that, they're not in prison. Because I can't just infiltrate the U.S. government and go in and clear up my credit. I can't just infiltrate the IRS and give myself a $20,000 refund check. I will go to prison for the rest of my life. Why are they not in prison? Y'all, this is insane. Did y'all hear this? I gotta go back. Lord. Oh, on this good Sunday. Okay.
Information about Scientology. This led leading to conflicts with governments and ex-members. In the 1970s, Scientology faced legal battles, including Operation Snow White, a covert program where church members infiltrated U.S. government agencies to remove unfavorable information about Scientology. This led to multiple arrests, including the imprisonment of Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue Hubbard. After Hubbard's death in 1986, David Miscavige took over as the church's leader. Under his leadership, Scientology aggressively expanded its influence, fought legal battles to regain tax-exempt status, which it achieved in the U.S. in 1993, and sought to gain...
Why did they give them that? See, here's where they went wrong. They gave them tax-exempt status. They shouldn't have done that. No, if they think they got to pay some taxes, they're going to keep themselves in check. Then it's not a matter of them just going out frivolously demanding money and making people pay for these so-called audit fines and all this other stuff. No, you got to pay those taxes. This is a deeper discussion, but I just want to pose a question to you all. How many of you all think that churches should be taxed? Especially these mega churches. How many of you all believe that, depending on the size, let's say they bring in, at least $1 million annually. Okay. If a church brings in $1 million a year, do you think they should be taxed? Just put a 1 in the chat if you believe they should be taxed. Put a 2 in the chat if you think they should not be taxed. If they're bringing in at least $1 million a year. I'm not trying to go after the little mom and pop churches and stuff where it's like only like 50 members. They're not, unless they have been investigated for doing some criminal activity, PPP loan fraud, something like that. That's one thing. But these churches that are bringing in serious, hardcore cash, if you're bringing in at least $1 million a year in revenue and you have profited that money, do you all believe that they should be taxed? Well, aren't we supposed to have a separation of church and state? Yeah, I'm just, GB says 1. I think they should. I agree with GB. GB has put a 1. He thinks that churches should be taxed if they're at least bringing in and generating a revenue of $1 million a year or more. Melinda said, I think it should be a tier type system. Okay. So if it's tiered, what do you think the minimum amount should be at before they start taxing? I'm just asking a question. I think $1 million, if you have a pretty decent congregation size, and I think about what you're able to keep out of it. Even if you generate $1 million, what do your profits look like? How much of that are you actually able to maintain? If the pastor is starting to make like 6 figures in salary and he's talking about he want a $50 million plane, they definitely should be taxed. Like Creflo Dollar should be paying taxes. All these mega churches, Joel Osteen, all these Kenneth Copeland, all these mega churches, they should definitely be paying taxes. If they can get 40, 50, 60 million dollar planes and jets, it's time for you to pay some damn taxes. I don't know. What do you all think about that? The ones that are those prosperity preachers that are actually bringing in millions of dollars multiple millions of dollars. Do you think they should be paying taxes? Yeah, you agree with the million. Cool. If you got Creflo Dollar flying around in 50, 60, 70 million dollar planes, he should be paying taxes on everything. Federal, state, local taxes. He should definitely be creating a new tax bracket. I mean, you got the money to do stuff like that. No, make these pastors pay these taxes. They want to claim to be pastors. Marvin Sapp, when they see him, he's talking about close the doors, and then he's asking for thousands of dollars in one service at one time. Now you gonna pay some taxes on that money. Put that in your pocket if you want to. Like, they keep doing that. Marvin Wine did it again. He went at it again, asking for money. Pay some taxes on that. I bet they stopped asking so much. Y'all, you can't make this up. Scientology should be paying taxes. How are you contributing to Clearwater and wherever else you're located? How are you contributing to the revenue in your local community, in your state, if you're not even trying to pay taxes? So you don't want to pay taxes on anything. So David Miscavige can't walk around talking about, I'm a taxpaying citizen. That's a lie from the pit of hell. We need you to return that lie to sender. That's a damn lie. You're not paying taxes on nothing. But yet they want to have all this power and control. He's got law enforcement afraid. Can you believe it? They've got tanks and weapons, and yet they're scared of David Miscavige in a building. They got SWAT. They scared of Scientology down there. You can't make this stuff up.
Celebrity endorsements. Now, let's look at some of the core beliefs of Scientology. Scientology does not adhere to a traditional concept of God. Instead, it teaches that individuals are spiritual beings called thetans, who possess godlike potential but have forgotten their true nature. While the church acknowledges the existence of a supreme being or infinite, it does not define this entity nor require followers to believe in a specific deity. Scientology does not consider Jesus Christ a divine figure, while Hubbard acknowledges Jesus as a historical person.
Yeah, they believe in aliens. Are we serious here? It seems like it would be right up Candace's alley.
Scientology does not adhere to a traditional concept of God. Instead, it teaches that individuals are spiritual beings called thetans, who possess godlike potential but have forgotten their true nature. While the church acknowledges the existence of a supreme being or infinite, it does not define this entity nor require followers.
If they forgot their true nature, then how do they know if they're helping people to get back their true nature? These thetans have forgotten their true nature. What is it? They walk around as if they're God on earth? Is that what they believe? They believe that they're God on earth. Y'all see? Possess God-like potential. So David Miscavige believes that he's a God walking on earth. He need his ass whooped. Can't make this up. Cece says she definitely aligns with it. Yep. Yes. So they believe that, hey, Angie, how you doing, honey? I'm going to find the regular screen. Be right back. So they believe that there are many gods walking the earth. That's blasphemy on every level. See, what happens when you think you have godlike powers and abilities, then you start believing that you can control other people. That's not what we do. You're not here to control other human beings. We don't play that. And where is your wife, David? We're still looking for Shelly Miscavige, right? She's still missing. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. This is what happens when mere mortals and aliens come down to our planet and then believe they have godlike potential. They tell everybody else you've forgotten your true nature, but somehow they think their true nature is to just simply control other human beings. That's not how we do. We have laws. And these same people that think they can control somebody don't pay their bills. David Miscavige is not paying everybody else's mortgage. No one owes him anything. And yet he's got Clearwater, Florida on lock. For what? You can't make this up.
To believe in a specific deity. Scientology does not consider Jesus Christ a divine figure. While Hubbard acknowledges Jesus as a historical person, he dismissed Christian teachings as part of implanted false memories that were used to control people in past lives.
They were, GB.
Some Scientology texts even suggest that Jesus was an inferior spiritual figure compared to Hubbard's insights.
See?
Scientology teaches that humans are immortal spiritual beings called thetans who have lived through countless past lives, even on other planets. Thetans are trapped in mest, matter, energy, space, and time, and must undergo spiritual awakening to reclaim their power. The church's goal is to help thetans free themselves from their limitations through auditing and spiritual advancement. Next, let's look at sacred texts and teachings. Scientology's key teachings come from the writings and lectures of L. Ron Hubbard, which include, number 1, Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, the foundational book explaining the reactive mind and how auditing can remove engrams. 2, Scientology, A History of Man, which describes past life experiences and concepts of thetans. 3, The Creation of Human Ability, which details auditing techniques. 4, Advanced Operating Thetan Materials, secret writings only available to high-level Scientologists. One of the most infamous teachings is the Xenu story, where Hubbard claimed that 75 million years ago, a galactic ruler named Xenu sent billions of beings to Earth, then called Tejiak. He killed them with hydrogen bombs and trapped their spirits. These spirits, called body thetans, now attach to humans and cause mental and emotional problems. Most of these teachings are only revealed to members after they pay for years of expensive courses. Next, let's look at some of the main practices of Scientology. Auditing is the central practice of Scientology, similar to counseling, but structured as a question and answer session. A trained Scientologist, known as an auditor, helps a participant recall past traumas using an e-meter or an electropsychometer, a device that allegedly measures electrical responses in the body. The goal is to remove negative engrams and achieve a state called clear, where a person is free from subconscious limits.
So they believe in electrotherapy. What is it? Electrotherapy treatment? Where they shocking people to see if something happens, and if it doesn't work, then what? They keep shocking them. So I just did a quick Google search about Shelly Miscavige, right? It says here Shelly is alive and safe. Shelly Miscavige, the wife of Scientology leader David Miscavige, has been missing since August 2007, despite numerous inquiries and reports, including a missing persons report filed by Leah Remini. The LAPD confirmed that Shelly is alive and safe. The church has maintained that she is living a private life and has not been publicly seen since her disappearance. It's 2026. She's been missing for almost 20 years. No one's seen her in the public for almost 20 years. How did LAPD confirm this? They produced no evidence on this? Seriously. Have they produced any evidence to prove that? This is crazy. So I have a Jenna Miscavige video where she talks about how she got out that we're going to check out next. But from what they're saying here, the LAPD confirmed that she is alive and safe, but she still hasn't been seen. Why won't he let people see her? Am I missing something here? How do you confirm someone's alive and safe, but yet no one is still able to lay eyes on her? I know, right? No, he wants his followers to believe that. Exactly. Like, what LAPD confirmed that? Name the LAPD officer or agent or investigator. It just says the LAPD. That's rather vague. Name the LAPD officer that confirmed this, because that makes no sense. That's all it says here. The LAPD confirmed she's alive and safe. We can't put eyes on her. Make that make sense? Denise is still running around saying she hasn't seen her. This is absolutely insane, y'all. Some speculated that she's being held at a secretive probably a secretive building somewhere. How you confirm someone is alive and safe and you don't actually show evidence that she's alive? So we have no proof of life, and yet the LAPD just put out that statement, she's alive and safe. We're not taking your word for it. Show us proof of life. How hard is that? Y'all, these people are crazy. Why would the LAPD even want to cover that up? See, this is what I mean by this cult here. This cult actually has a grip on law enforcement. And we have weapons. We have an army. Like, they really think they can outdo us. No, you can't. Can't make this up. Hey, Camille, how you doing? What's going on? Y'all listen, I knew Cheryl was coming, honey. How you doing, Cheryl? How's our LLC baby? She's so beautiful. She said, shoot, I'm late. Sorry, you good, girl? You good? I think Scientology is government related. They've infiltrated the government in the past, which is what that video explained, to try to purge out negative things said about it, because they seem to care more about what people think of them than showing proof of life of Shelly Miscavige. Like, they would rather infiltrate our government leading to prison time just to keep an image up, but not give proof of life of one person. Make that make sense? Oh my God, y'all. Cheryl said, no, it's just a fake electrical meter. Easy to beat. Auditing is basically a recorded confession of all your past regressions or thoughts. Currently, there's a 12-year-old auditor. What? A 12-year-old is auditing someone? A 12-year-old. Y'all, what does that sound like? You're sitting down telling somebody about all your past transgressions. Doesn't it sound like Catholicism? Isn't that what Catholics do when they go and to confession? People think that L. Ron Hubbard came up with something new and inventive. No, he didn't. He took the basics of Catholicism and then anything related to aliens and put it together. And now you got Scientology. That's what Catholics do, right? They go to confession, they sit behind a wall, talk to a priest, and then they tell that priest everything they've done wrong. Melinda says, for my take on the auditing, it's like a polygraph test. They use these records as a form of blackmail too. Oh yeah. If you're giving them all your past transgressions, that means you're telling them information. Even if it's not true, then you can be called a liar, right? But they're going to use it against you. See, it's manipulation. Why are you sitting there making people do that if the only intent of doing that is to use it as blackmail? I'm not going to tell you nothing. I'm going to sit there and say, I don't remember my past life. I don't know what I did yesterday. Good luck to proving it. You can make this stuff up. What's wrong with these people? Cheryl says, PD met a woman in a coffee shop, took prints, no pics, prints were splotched. That's it. What? And they said that's Shelly Miscavige. That's how they confirmed it. Some random woman with splotched fingerprints. We didn't see that person, though. They didn't take a photo, no nothing. Y'all, you can't make this up. So the LAPD is just being stuck on stupid. LAPD, you all have a SWAT team. Are you really scared of Scientology? Why we got to be some punks again? I don't see how letting a cult take over parts of U.S. soil should be something that we are in agreement with. No. He don't want to abide by our laws, then you kick his ass out. What we doing? We got whole U.S. armed forces. We sitting here scared of Scientology? What the fuck for? You can't make this stuff up. Living it up in the Hotel California. GB said, give him money to tell you that you are damned with evil, and he will fix you by giving up to him all your secrets, life stories, so he has control over you. Exactly. Exactly. As you said, I missed the video. I was late too. I'm sorry. No, you didn't miss anything. We're still in the middle of it. But I'm pausing it because I want you all to see that some of the elements that's being said here, it sounds like it stems from Catholicism. And then this electrotherapy shock treatment they're doing here. This is ridiculous. If people are willing to just tell you what's going on, they don't need to have an electroshock therapy treatment. That's not clearing them of anything. You just pumping electricity through their body. These are coming from people, though, who have not fully studied science. Can't make this up. Neither of them have a degree in science. They have no idea what this is doing to the human body at all. They don't even care. You can't make this up, man. But David Miscavige is not being electroshocked anywhere. Somebody to sit him down and make him go through some electroshock therapy treatment. Just shock his behind for about a good hour straight and see what happens. Record it and put it on video.
Limitations. Scientologists advance through a structured.
Let me go back a little bit.
Main practices of Scientology. Auditing is the central practice of Scientology, similar to counseling, but structured as a question and answer session. A trained Scientologist, known as an auditor, helps a participant recall past traumas using an e-meter or an electropsychometer, a device that allegedly measures electrical responses in the body. The goal is to remove negative engrams and achieve a state called clear, where a person is free from subconscious limitations. Scientologists advance through a structured spiritual progression known as the Bridge to Total Freedom, which includes levels such as Level 1, Pre-Clear, a beginner who undergoes auditing, Level 2, Clear, a person free of engrams, and Level 3, Operating Thetan levels, advanced levels where a Scientologist supposedly gains extraordinary abilities such as telepathy and mind-over-matter control.
Okay, so is Tom Cruise telepathic? Is he telepathic? Because, the way he acts, he's already there. Yeah, how is this? They try to purport themselves to be godlike. And it's crazy. It's like God has a way of showing you who's God. So is Tom Cruise telepathic? Or Kirsten Allen? Y'all, Poetry Princess says, actually what Hubbard did is he took it from Aleister Crowley, who made the Church of Satan, and then he added like a whole bunch of nautical stuff into it as well. Wow. So it's definitely demonic. Like the idea that you think you can be comparable to God is just, it's already demonic. Like that's insane. They're pulling elements from the Church of Satan. That's what cults do, y'all. They don't come up with anything original. They just pull in from what they want to what they can conform and twist up and manipulate based on what the leader believes. A cult is more passionate about that leader than it is about the idea or the concept of the belief. They obsess over the leader. The leader is the one that has the full control. That's what's happening. They know all this auditing, all this bimble babble nonsense, trying to be like they know it's garbage. Who's telepathic in this? That's what I'm curious to know. Because after all that Tom Cruise has given as far as money, he obviously he must have achieved the goal of being telepathic by now, right? You would think. Is he telepathic? Child. Y'all, this is something else. It's definitely a cult. Tom Cruise telepathic or pathetic. He's more pathetic than telepathic. Because that's so crazy. This is why I said cults don't care about the belief. They only care about the leader and what the leader says and does. Because if they cared about the belief, Tom Cruise should be telepathic. He should be able to elevate himself off the ground just naturally, I guess. You know why he can't do that? Because he's not God. There's not enough engrams in the world to put you on a godlike level. He's still a mere mortal who acts like an idiot. He doesn't pay my mortgage, so I owe him nothing. Can't make this up. And you know what? We can all have discernment. Doesn't mean that we're sitting here saying we're gods. It's so crazy. Caleb says the leaders know it's all fake, but if they can get people to believe this nonsense, they can control people and other things. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's something else. Let's get back to it.
Each level requires expensive coursework, with costs reportedly reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars for completion. Scientology enforces a strict disconnection policy, meaning members must cut ties with critics, former members, or family members who are deemed suppressive persons. This has led to widespread accusations of family separation and social isolation. Scientology also heavily recruits celebrities through the Celebrity Center, offering them privileged status within the church. Some of the most famous Scientologists have included Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Elizabeth Moss. Scientology uses these figures to promote its public image while suppressing criticism. Lastly, let's look at some of the controversies and criticisms that surround Scientology. Critics argue that Scientology operates more like a business than a religion, requiring members to pay large sums of money for courses, auditing, and spiritual progress. Some ex-members have described it as a pay-to-play system that pressures people into financial hardship. Scientology has a history of aggressive litigation and intimidation tactics against former members, journalists, and government officials. The fair game policy, created by Hubbard, once permitted Scientologists to attack or ruin critics by any means necessary. Although the church claims this policy is no longer in effect, many ex-Scientologists report continued harassment. Numerous former members have accused the church of abusive practices, including forced labor in the Sea Organization, a religious order within Scientology where members sign billion-year contracts and work under extreme conditions. Did you find this video about Scientology to be helpful? If so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Illustrate to Educate to support more simple and objective videos on topics that matter.
All right, y'all. That's a full video with that one. I think that was a nice little breakdown and intro into that. Now we're going to go into Jenna Miscavige here. And she did. They have what's called she actually has a YouTube channel. And I want, just to, you guys make sure you go check her out and support her. She got out. And I'm just, man. Like I said, my heart goes out to those who are in it that want to get out of it and they can't. Yeah, they have forced labor, Caleb. Yeah, forced labor. They make the kids take care of the babies. So it's like you've got this stigma. They don't want the girls to get pregnant as teenagers, but yet they force them to still be a teen mom by raising the babies and the children. I mean, seriously. You don't want them to get pregnant, but you actually want them to still play the role of a mother at 13, 14 years old. Make that make sense? Yeah. When it comes to a cult, I'm not surprised at anything that I hear. There are some cults that have done worse. You got cults where they do get kids pregnant and then still expect them to take care of the kids and themselves and conduct themselves like they are grown women. And they're all of like 12, 13 years old. That's the part that really, it just really disgusts me. How they do this with these children. They have forced labor with the kids too. Y'all, that's something else. Cruz has mega money. Miscavige has mega money. They do what they want and act as they want under protections of the church. Yeah. That's crazy. So we're going to get into this. You guys make sure, let me drop the link to this video here. You go out and check out her content. She talks a lot about the Church of Scientology, but I wanted to get this one in because this is kind of like her story about what was going on, what she experienced, and how she got out of Scientology, this cult. And so we're gonna tune into this. And then we have the dark side of Scientology cult. This is like a docuseries hosted by Leah Remini. All right? So put a one in the chat where you can see it here. Let's get to it.
Called the murder routine, where they ask you these questions like if you've done the, and I was debating if I should tell her or not.
What?
And I finally just did.
Hold on. She just got punched in the face. A grown woman punched a child in the face? Y'all hear this? Ooh, child. Oh, GB said that's a $10 super. Thank you. This is the most bizarre church we all know of. I call it a cult. I just refuse to affiliate this with a church. I can't do it. I feel God get mad at me every time I think about it being a church. No, I call it a cult. The judge is here. Thank you for the $10 super. Shout out to you, GB. I appreciate you. Thank you for your generosity here, supporting me here in the LLC. You guys are awesome. Shout out to all my mods in here. Thank you all so much for tuning in, by the way. I know this might be a hard topic, hard situation. You're going to hear some crazy things. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But I just cannot imagine a grown adult punching a child in the face. What child? And you punch my child in the face? No, I'm whooping you. You're going to have to run for me. I'm going to give you a head start. I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to let you get as far as you think you're going to get. And then I'm coming for you. Are you kidding me? She got punched in the face. Oh, my good Lord. I think Will Smith, I think Manny said Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, they're all in this Scientology cult. Yep. What's going on, Middle? He said, interestingly, Cruz, Travolta, and Smith all have many allegations of being gay. It's crazy, right? Yep, Will Smith family in it. Yep. Caleb says, something I find odd is that these cults always love to call themselves churches. Exactly. Cheryl says, a Scientologist cannot report a crime by another Scientologist, period. Her mom would have had her to report her if she told her. What? So they just want you to be abused and keep it all inside the cult. Yeah, Scientology is a cult that does not have an army. That's what bothers me. And then somehow they've taken over Clearwater. I mean, this girl got punched in the face. It's not even what child. They just have to report me, kick me out. Please do whatever you need to do. Kick me out of this dumb cult. You hit my child in the face, I'm whooping her ass again. Report that. That teacher should have got her ass whooped. Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. She was lucky to go to school. Most are put to work. Wow, yeah, because she's the niece of David Miscavige. This is Jenna Miscavige, the niece of David Miscavige. So there has to be a lot of nepotism and some favorable treatment given to those who are related to David Miscavige. I mean, it's not all that great because look how they're treating his own wife. Like he treats his own wife like crap. She's alive and safe. It's been 20 years and no one still has seen her. But the LAPD thinks that's okay. They don't see anything wrong with that. My God. This is crazy. Caleb said, cult rule. What happens in the cult stays in the cult. God, this is something else. Yeah, Danny Masterson was reported to Scientology for years. They blamed the victims. Wow. Is he? Danny Masterson, is he deceased? Is he still alive? Or is he in jail? I can't remember. Yeah, it's definitely sus. Check out Will Smith and Gay Rumors with Dwayne Martin, plus the latest, the violinist boy. Y'all, they are catching these celebrities are getting sued. Tyler Perry's got another lawsuit now? So he's got 2 lawsuits total from 2 different men. I saw that come. I just, oh God. In Clearwater, they do have a lot of Christian protesters outside their buildings all the time. Good. because they're a cult and they should not be taking over the government to where law enforcement is afraid of them. They don't even want to go on their property to arrest someone. So an entire murder can occur inside of this blue building of Scientology in Clearwater, and the police will be scared to go in. They wouldn't care about solving the murder. They'd be more scared and upset about going near the building. Like, forget a life is lost. That's how scared they have law enforcement down there in Clearwater. You can't make this up. Cheryl says, also, children in Scientology aren't children. They are adults in little bodies. Oh, yeah. Hence why they have these kids, these teen girls, raising and taking care of babies and stuff. They really do treat them like adults. But then you got a teacher punching the child in the face. So if she were to punch her back, I mean, you got a little adult punching a big adult back in the face. They're so hypocritical in that cult. I guarantee you they would have punished her if she would have punched that teacher back. But if you're going to treat her like an adult, then let her be able to fight and defend herself, right? See, it's the hypocrisy for me from this dumb cult that just boils my blood. Can't make this up. Big Blue is in LA. It's an old hospital. Which one is in the Clearwater? What color building is that? I got the color wrong. I apologize. Which color is the building in Florida? Isn't that where the Sea Org is or something? I thought it was blue. It's not blue. Is it yellow? Middle says Scientology personnel getting paid pennies work for these big celebrities. Yeah. One thing I like about Leah Remini, she became a celebrity, and then that's what Scientology wanted to be all over her neck. I would have told them then, y'all can kiss my ass. I'm not studying none of y'all. Y'all kick me out. Bye. I ain't coming back. They would have had to be mad for many, many years about me. You kick me. How you gonna kick her out the cult? Then the moment she goes off to become a huge actress, now all of a sudden she's on the cover of their magazine. Nah, don't put me on your magazine. I ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Y'all kick me out. Yeah, this is so crazy. Sea Org is in Clearwater. What color is that building? Is it tan? It's got like a yellowish tannish hue. Gotcha. Thank you so much for clearing that up. I appreciate that. I think it is a yellow color. Last I saw pics. Okay, cool. So the blue one is in LA. The yellow tannish one is in Clearwater. Yeah, a whole murder can occur in that building, and the police will be petrified to go in the building. Not because they're afraid that they might be next in line or anything. No, just because they're afraid of Scientology. Like the things that go on in that building, you can only imagine. And think the worst, because this is a cult. Yeah, that's how dangerous this is. Let's get back to it.
Just deal with it. But I mean, I remember there was one time that
she just said, if this ask if you're bad, it's going to give you back an answer saying, yes, you are bad. But this isn't connected to some advanced computer system that has, preloaded data in it to determine whether or not you're lying. So, I mean, it's someone manipulating this machine, obviously, right? Am I understanding this correctly? This thing has the ability to react instantly. If you ask a question, hold on, let me go back to here, because I mean, she's basically saying that it lacks any technology to even operate on an advanced level to be able to determine whether or not you're lying or telling the truth. So the only way it works is someone sitting there manipulating it.
Influenced by what's going on in your mind. It influences this current. And so if you ask a question, like, have you done anything bad? If the needle reacts instantly, then it means, yes, you've done something bad. So it's sort of like a lie detector.
How does it do that?
It's like they ask questions and they see if you're...
See, here's the thing. Lie detectors are based upon like physiological reactions such as your heartbeat, heart rate, breathing patterns. You have the analyst sitting there looking at your blinking rate, They're listening for vocal pattern changes, like your tone, your volume. If you're coming in, let's say I go into a lie detector test and I'm talking like this, very proper, very dainty like. And then they ask me something and I've been speaking like this for 15 minutes. If this is not my normal talking pattern, my normal dialect, my normal accent, my normal tone and pace in which I speak, and they ask me something that irritates me a little bit, guess what? If I answer yes, they're going to say, oh, that's a change. She's been talking like this for 15 minutes. We asked her this particular question and it triggers her. And her response was, yes. Now you see how the volume, the tone, all of that changes. It shifts. That's a part of that physiological reaction. She's just saying it comes from brain waves. What I hear. Something with the head. Y'all look at this. It looks like a car battery. This cult is so damn cheap. All the money they bring in, and this is what it looks like. They can't even try to fake the funk by actually have real analysts to come in and do a lie detector test. Why are they using this? Just go get a lie detector test done and get someone to come in and do it, right? Y'all look at this. This is insane. Oh my God. Nobody's trained to conduct a lie detector test. I had to go back. Yeah, I was laughing. Just to let you all know, I was laughing about this. I can't believe it.
You're going to get in trouble.
So this electrical pulse, which should not be strong enough to cause harm or damage to the human body, somehow is supposed to help trigger something. And let me be clear on this. I know she was in the cult. I'm not attacking her. I'm laughing at that machine and how this cult, Scientology, the David Miscavige, all these people that are coming up with this nonsense think that somehow this stuff is effective when they can just get someone to come in and actually conduct a lie detector test. Real licensed technicians that can actually do an analysis and conduct a lie detector test. Like, if you're going to infiltrate the government, why not just at least contract with some of these law enforcement departments and have them come in and just conduct the lie detector test? They're going to lie either way. The LAPD don't mind lying on behalf of Scientology about a whole woman who has not been seen for 20 years. When I get law enforcement to come in, whomever they use to contract with to do these lie detector tests, let them do the polygraph. This is madness. How do they know what that electrical current is actually doing to the human body? They're not doctors. They have no way to determine that. They can't tell what vital organs could be damaged along the way with this electrical current coming through your body. This is insane. Holding two metal green bean cans. It does not shock you. She said it goes through the body. Did I hear that right? She said this electrical current goes through the body. Hold on. I'm not saying it like shocks her like that, but I still wouldn't want any electricity just flowing through my body like this that a machine can pick up. And the expectation is it's supposed to be strong enough to trigger something. Yeah, these two cans. And it's supposed to help you remember, trigger memories, all these things. Like, that's insane. These two cans you hold, they look like Pepsi cans. You know, those little new age Fango Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola type cans now. Except without the paint. Who knows? It could be filled with soda. Oh my God, I could go on about this.
And basically, a detector, it's like they ask questions and they see if you're telling the truth on the e-meter. And they use it for interrogations, but they also use it for other
Okay, did they say that it gives you an opportunity to answer? if you're asked a question, are you able to answer it, or is she saying, based on this electrical current, when they ask it, your thoughts, I guess, is going to trigger that machine to do something? Like if you have any brain activity, who knows? It could be like your brain activity helping you to pass gas, but they're gonna take that as, oh, you must have done something wrong. Like, no, it's my brain telling my body to pass gas. Y'all, the brain controls all the neurological activity in the body. So if you need to pass gas, if you need to poop, okay, your brain is sending signals down to that area of the body to help this gas move along so you can poop. This machine is going to register that brain activity where it's telling your body to poop as if you're answering the question. Am I hearing that correct? Y'all can imagine how many test results where this needle moved because someone had to poop. Not because they were answering the question. No, it's because my stomach was bubbling. What you thought was going on?
Influenced by what's going on in your mind. It influences this current. And so if you ask a question, like, have you done anything bad? If the needle reacts instantly, then it means, yes, you've done something bad. So it's sort of like a lie detector. It's like they ask questions and they
ask you a question. So he has a question.
Influenced by what's going on in your mind. It influences this current. And so if you ask a question, like, have you done anything bad? If the needle reacts instantly, then it means.
Right, if the needle reacts instantly, doesn't mean that you've answered. Is going based on the brain activity from this electrical current. Right? So you don't even have to answer. Just simply because your brain is functioning, they're using that and weaponizing it to say, you must have done something wrong. No, my brain is simply functioning. It's trying to keep my body going. I have to pass gas. I ate ice cream. My stomach is bubbling. And my brain is trying to help me relieve it. You took that as an answer to your dumbass question. That's what happened. She didn't even say she got the chance to answer the question. Whomever is conducting this so-called test is simply looking at brain activity based on an electrical current from 2 Coca-Cola bottles, cans. These 2 Coca-Cola cans. The body also produces its own electrical activity. You understand that in neurologically, there's electrical currents flowing through the synapses. Yeah, because, this is my field of study. So your body already has its own electrical activity going on within itself. This machine just simply sensing the electrical activity going on in the human body in general, it's not an indication you've done something wrong or right. They're just weaponizing that to try to say that you've done something wrong because your brain is alive. Y'all, this dumb coat. Y'all, this coat ain't getting that on me. You put me up to 2, soda cans, and you tell me that I've done something wrong because my brain is simply functioning the way it should, the way it was created to do. I'm just going to pass gas right there, and I'm going to make you breathe all that in. Y'all, what would they do if you start getting gassy? Can you imagine that? Like somebody get in there and they get super nervous and they just start farting all over the place. And then it stinks. That person conducting that test, they're going to say, well, you know what? I think we've got all we need. We're good. We're good. Just go ahead and go back to your headquarters. We're fine. Yeah, maybe you've done something wrong. Maybe you didn't. But I know I need fresh air. Y'all, if you're ever in trouble, I'm going to tell you something. Please, just pass gas. Keep farting. They go like, oh, you stinky. Yep. It's my body's self-defense mechanism kicking in. Fallaciousness. Yeah, let me well wait to get myself out of that room. Just shit myself. Oh, make sure it's stinky too. Make sure it smells like rotten cabbage. They'll never bother you again. They'll be scared to sit here and try to put that on me. Every time we put this thing on her, she starts passing gas. And it stinks. It stinks. It's silent. It's like those silent deadly killers. You don't hear it come out. It's just like, psh. And then next thing you know, you get the smell, and it's like, oh Lord, get in my room. Yeah, start doing that. You can't make this. I'm trying to help people now. For those that's still in this cult, they want to sit here and argue you for hours, pass gas. Keep passing gas. Don't just eat a bunch of ice cream. You know it's gonna tear your stomach up. And then let them hear like, what is that sound? My stomach is bubbling. Yeah, we're almost there, buddy. We're almost there. I'm sorry, you trying to ask me a question? Where you go? Let your body do the work, okay? Just tell them it's part of my fight or flight response, okay? Everybody's fight or flight response isn't the same. My fight or flight response includes me passing gas like hell and it stinks. This is my natural mechanism, okay? Yeah, Cheryl said the amount of beans and rice they fed those kids definitely produced gas. See, there you go. There you go, Cheryl. You throw in some sour cream, a little lettuce, tomatoes, some chicken, and make a burrito. Boy, they go in there and just have a field day. Pass all the gas. They will never, ever want to interrogate you again. They'd be so mad. Every time they leave here, it smells like funky sour corn chips and 3-day-old cabbage and sour milk. Where do they eat it? I know you, Lady Luck Club. You need a cleansing. Yeah. No, I just need you to stop bringing me in here. Me and my body are going to defend myself at all costs. That means if you got to smell me for 2 hours, you're gonna smell me. Oh, they would be so pissed off for me, y'all. Let's get back to it.
And I was like, nope. I was just like,
shout out to my mom. Shout out to all of you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. You gotta try to laugh a little bit, you know. This is already horrible to think the things that they put people through in this cult. Boy, I would get the biggest revenge on them ever. Just go in there and take a poop.
why would I say yes? And then they do this thing where if you say no, they have what's called the murder routine, where they ask like at least 25 times. But interrogations last a long time. Like, it's not a one-day thing. It's something that takes like months or minimally weeks to get through. Because they ask you a question, like they'll say, did you do something bad? And if it doesn't read, but your needle doesn't float, they'll be like, on the question, have you done something bad? Has anything been suppressed? On the question, have you done anything bad? Has anything been invalidated? And they have like this whole list of things that they keep checking until your needle floats on that question. And then at the end of every session, they ask you a series of questions that are like, have you deliberately tried to influence the E-meter? Was there another question I should have asked you that I didn't ask? And you have to have your needle float on all those questions. So it's very intensive. It's not just like a one-day thing. It goes on for weeks. And sometimes like in a single day, I would be in the room for like 9 hours. And they had a video camera there. And even sometimes they had like a headset on where someone would be telling them what to do or what to ask while I was in the interrogation.
Why do they do that?
They believe that people leave and speak badly about Scientology because they have done bad things to Scientology. And in order to feel better about themselves, they now need to belittle Scientology by saying bad things. And so basically, they do it for their own safety and protection. It's like if you have more things to hide, then they consider that you'll do more bad things towards Scientology. And then I also think they do it to keep you in line. It's like you don't want that to happen to you, so you'll be as good as possible.
What was the impact on you as a child growing up in that environment?
it sort of created an environment where you knew that nobody ever had your back. Like you had to figure it out for yourself. And even asking for help is like it was pointless. Like it was just asking for more trouble, or like you always, so in Scientology, they have like where if somebody is doing something bad or not working fast enough or hard enough, you have to write reports on each other. They have what's called knowledge reports. And you know that if you go to anybody, they're just going to report you. So it's almost like you have friends, but you have no real friends. You have parents, but they're not really your parents. And so it's this sort of like distrusting environment, and you're sort of being required to be an adult, even though you're a little kid. And you kind of know that nobody's going to like protect you if anything bad happens. When I was 12, I had joined the Sea Org in Clearwater, Florida. So I was moved away from my parents in California, and then 3,000 miles away across the country, I was brought to Clearwater. I remember arriving at the airport and there was no one there to pick me up. And up until this point, like I was never around people who were not Scientologists. So all of a sudden I was at the airport by myself. Nobody was there to pick me up, and it was scary. And then I was just put into a room with a bunch of other girls. The plan was sort of unclear, but I was put into a Sea Org uniform, which was just like blue. It had epaulets. It had like a little tie. And I was just told I was in the Sea Org and that I was in training to go back to the international base. So basically I spent my entire day studying Scientology. And as far as how it differed from the ranch, to be honest, in some ways it was easier because we did not have to do heavy manual labor. Where at the ranch we did. So that was harder as like a young kid. So in Clearwater, it was more just studying all day.
And whilst you were at Clearwater, how often did you see your family?
So while I was in Clearwater, I saw my dad twice. In fact, like I was forbidden to call him directly from my Aunt Shelley, who was my uncle David Miscavige's assistant. She said I wasn't allowed to call my dad. And so I would even like try to call my parents, and I would be like held down by security and several other women. And there was no way for me to be in contact with them that wouldn't go through Scientology. Like I could write them a letter, but all of those letters are checked and they go through Scientology's mail pack. And so they're just read both ways. So it's not like I could really ask for help or even that I expected that I could.
There is a lot of speculation about what happened to Shelley Miscavige. She's not been seen for over 15 years, since roughly like 2005. What do you think has happened to Shelley Miscavige?
I believe that she was like demoted. She probably got in trouble for something she did, and she probably had to receive interrogations, but I believe that she was demoted to a lower position where she works somewhere where it's not a place where Scientology public are coming in and out. It's like a management part of Scientology, and that's just where she works now. She's really no more or less missing than anybody else who's in Scientology and who can't really have contact with outsiders and is just working on a billion-year contract and working, and if the people in those lower level groups were your friends who you've known your whole life, who you were brought up with as a kid, you would just get in trouble for talking to them or being nice to them. You were only supposed to be friendly with the people in your group. And we did not have schooling. We had long hours, but all those things were normal to me at that point, or not spending time with my parents. But the situation with just sort of like being ripped away from your friends and being forbidden to talk to certain people, or even being forbidden to like boys. So they said, okay, you can leave. You have to get your interrogation. But by this point, I was so tired of being kept in a room. I had tried to escape the room many times. They chased me down the street after trying to hold me in the room for hours. And I just like couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't put myself through the mental process. But my husband at the time, he said that he wanted to leave with me. And so he was sort of slowly like withdrawing or being shady or not coming home and sort of changing his tune, saying, well, I might not go with you, even though it was like kind of his idea to want to leave too. And it finally came to a point where I was just going to leave without him. They tried to have me sign like this contract that was like, if you speak publicly badly about Scientology, you'll pay us millions of dollars per instance. And I just like shredded it up in front of their face. They tried to have me do more interrogations. I said, I just can't anymore. And so I was going to leave without my husband, and we were at the air. So at first they forbade him even to take me to the airport. They said, no, she just needs to get a taxi and get out of here. And he sort of like was like, no, I love her. I'm going to take her to the airport. This is the last time I'm ever going to see her. I was like, okay, if you will come with me, if I stay and get my interrogation, then I'll stay. We were both crying. It was like the last time we're ever going to see each other. He basically told me that they had been speaking with him about me behind my back for weeks and telling and threatening him. And when I wouldn't do my interrogation, they sort of basically started talking to him and convincing him that he couldn't leave, and otherwise he would never get to speak to his parents or his family again, who were Scientologists, and that he had to deal with me and make me get my interrogation,
blackmail
or
here.
else he would never be able to.
You can't speak to your family again. The blackmail here is off the chart. If you don't do what we say, you can't speak to your family, your friends, nothing. That's extortion. It's bribery. You might not be getting any money out of it, but you're telling them that they can't see their own family again. Who the hell are you talking to? Like, that would have been my question. I would have the United States Army come and bulldoze this whole building down if you're telling me I can't see my family. Keep playing with me. But that's absolute madness. Look how they try to mind control people with this. By telling them they can't see their family. If you got to make that type of threat, that means you have nothing of value. If you got to sit here and make a threat to say, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to keep you from seeing your family. Well, why would you need to make that type of threat if you feel like you're doing something right? Just let the person go. If they want out, leave them alone and let them go. They don't have a problem kicking someone out. So why are they sitting here telling someone they can't see their family if you don't do what I say? Kick rocks. And I have all of SWAT take down this entire building. I don't care what I got to tell them. Like, this is insane. Yeah, man, this is something else. It is called disconnect. This is so horrible. Just let people leave out. Let them leave the cult. If they want out, let them out. They owe you nothing else beyond that. Let them go. They treat this like captivity. I mean, it's disgusting. You can't see your family if you don't do what I tell you to do. You can kick rocks. I'm not doing any of that. Y'all, man, this is cult-like behavior. You can imagine how horrible it was. Look, it was 30 times worse with Jim Jones on the day that over 500 people lost their lives. That was because people wanted to leave as well. And it just went violent. He had his so-called security people just starting to shoot people at the airport. Why are they trying to leave? And then that's when he forced everybody to drink the poison. They injected it in babies. All because one person could not handle rejection. Couldn't handle the fact that people didn't want to be in his cult. People wanted to leave. Let them go. There's 7, 8 people on a plane. He still had over 500 more. That's someone who was only concerned about being in control. Yo, 10 people want to leave. I still have 7,000 more people. Like, okay. Let them go. This is crazy, man. This is insane. Very controlling. Absolutely, Francis. They're very controlling. Poetry Princess says the fact anyone is okay with this is crazy. Who in their right mind even wants to live like that? I don't know. Child, I've seen enough documentaries about cults to where, you know what? The moment someone starts sounding like a cult leader, I call it. I said that about Candace Owens, didn't I call it? I said, I know what a cult leader sounds like. Candace Owens is a cult leader. I called that one. We got to get back to finishing up Nature Boy series so y'all can see. Listen, that cult was in Atlanta. He still got 2 so-called wives living in the forest, in the woods. These cults are something else. If they can get a hold of your mind and control what you think, what you say, and how you act, your decision making, they can control every aspect of your life. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That's why I refuse to let Candace Owens sit here and have her cult start taking all over the place. And then when they don't like somebody else's videos, they want the videos taken down. So they go and abuse federal laws, impersonating federal investigators because they don't like what someone is saying. We don't care about your stupid cult. We're taking it down if we have to. Candace now wants to be the dictator of the United States of America. Make that make sense? Can't make this up. This is horrible what these people went through. And look how hard it was for her to leave. Y'all, look at the pain on her face. That's years of mental abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. That takes many, many years of counseling and therapy to try to get past, to recover from. Since she was a child. And she still hasn't seen her aunt. Can't make this up.
See his family again. People can believe things, that's fine. But they don't need to force you to separate from anybody who doesn't believe in Scientology, or ostracize people, or just be so extreme, having people mortgage their houses in order to pay for Scientology donations and services, destroying their credit and their financial stability, separating children from their parents. All these things are extreme. And, my uncle is essentially the dictator. Anything he says goes. So it's just the extremism that is what I believe makes it a cult.
What do you think the legacy of being part of the Church of Scientology is on you as a person?
I believe it is a cult as well. That is my opinion and theory. Scientology, if you buck, I will buck back. You don't run none. You can't control here like you control everybody else. We ain't rocking like that. Buck if you want to. Nuck if you buck. I will buck back. It's a cult. That's how I feel about it. You don't get to control people, control what they do, control what they say and what they think. And then you want to sue people because your PR strategy is failing you. If you're a cult, you're a cult. Stop doing cult-like crap and people won't call you a cult. It's that simple. I'll subpoena that damn machine and out with them 2 soda cans on it. It's a cult. They're trying to control people, keep people from leaving. Let people go. People leave churches all the time. People go from one church to another church in the same month. They'll go to one church on one Sunday. Next Sunday, they'll be at another church. Next Sunday, they'll be at another church. You think those pastors are going to these people that are church hopping talking about, if you leave us, then, you can't see your family anymore. Who are you talking to? Let me tell you something. That's the same concept. They want to consider themselves a church. You telling somebody they can't leave this church or else they won't see their family. That's no different than people church hopping, going to 3 and 4 different churches in a month. And then the pastors and the deacons coming at them talking about, if you leave this church, you can't see your family anymore. We'll keep your family from you. They will get their ass whooped. Then you have family show up and be like, all right, we'll catch y'all deacons outside by your car. What time is service over? Make sure you all take communion. You're going to need it. You can't make this up. You don't sit here and tell somebody they're not going to see their family again because they want to leave your church. Bye. I'm leaving this church. And I'm going to go home and sleep peacefully. It's that simple. They don't scare me. That's what they want. They want people to be in fear of them. I fear God and no one else. Not a thetan, not an alien, not this bogus machine. I fear God and God only. They don't run nothing here. They tell them to pay my rent. I can send them a bill. Child boo. Nuck if you buck, I will buck back. Child, please. They want people to be in fear of them. It's laughable. You're a cult. You're holding people hostage because you can't handle rejection. David Miscavige can kick rocks barefoot. You kidding me? You don't control free speech? Little janky ass on somewhere. Produce your wife. Show us proof of life, David. Or go back to your home planet. Wherever you came from with them thetans. Go back. The hell on. Can't make this stuff up. What's going on, Fox? How you doing? What's happening? Long time no see. Y'all, shout out to Ronald Albert Lanier is up in here. Can I get one of the moms to drop his YouTube channel link in the chat? He's also got Substack. You guys should check out. Read his articles, his reviews. We've had him here in the LLC a couple times. Yes, we are going to have to schedule you to come back. Lots of things to catch up on. Oh, my goodness. Between Umar, Rashad Ritchie, his degree mill, and, he's another one like to sue everybody. They don't get to control First Amendment rights and free speech. Not in the United States of America. David Miscavige and Rashad Ritchie, y'all can both kick rocks hand in hand. Chabu. He'll be all right. You gotta have to get over it. All these years, David Miscavige has walked this earth and he's still upset when someone said something about him because his feelings are hurt. Child, please. He don't want to come in my neighborhood. What you say, Ghost wouldn't want me because I be cussing him out every second. Y'all. Oh, man. What's going on right there, Albert in there? How you doing, honey? Just because this lady would be considered an SP, supreme suppressive person in that belief system. Let's see. Francisca said, apart from the block Hebrews never been approached, kids are treated as young adults instead of children. Fran said, hit the like button. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button. It's going to get real interesting. I'm going to drop the link after we check out the second video so you guys can come up and you have a few minutes to just tell me what you think and what's on your mind. And some of you guys, I think a couple of you all say you have actual, connections to this. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So once this ends and then we have the second video, then I'm dropping that link and you guys are going to come up and talk about it. That's why I'm not pausing too much, because I want to give time for that so that you guys can engage and come on up and give me your thoughts, man. And let me know how you feel and what's on your mind. If you've got connections, if you want to talk about it and disclose any information, that's fine. If not, I understand. But David Miscavige he's not God. So, God has a way of showing you who's God. David, this is not what you want. I'm not what you want, punk. I'm not what you want. Child, please. He won't last 2 minutes in my neighborhood. You can't make this up. Ryder says, Sherry, those guys play hardball both online and offline. They are no joke. Yeah, they do that. They want to scare people. They want to scare people. And then they abuse laws. But they still want to occupy our country and not care about our rights. Protect the free speech and expression. Child. People need to stop being afraid of them. See, here's the thing. If he believes he's God and you can make God bleed or, hurt his feelings, people cease to believe in him. The way he continues to get people to believe in him is to try to control and manipulate. To have people in fear. That doesn't rock me at all. He's completely insignificant in the grand scheme of my life. And as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. David Miscavige doesn't run this. He doesn't. And those who do say something, they try to silence them and shut them down before other people start picking it up. He don't run that here. He has no power on my platform. He's not God. He can go worship Satan all day. He's not God. So they can kick rocks. I'm just saying. Let's see. They try to pass themselves off as a church, but act like a cult and wonder why they attract government scrutiny in the UK. Exactly. They don't have a PR strategy. They have an attack strategy. Fair game. I hear you. Let's see. Caleb says, and how is a church supposed to do that unless most of their family attends that church? Exactly. See, that's what Scientology is. It's like they get the whole family in, and then they try to keep you from your family. And then if you're staying on their base in their compounds, then they can control and restrict who you see. It would be a lot. I guess it would be harder to do if you don't stay there. But then again, these people spend more of their time either trying to audit someone or stalk someone. They spend a lot of their time doing that. I don't care about celebrities who wanted to be in a cult. They would have to get themselves out of it. But when people want to leave, they have thousands more in the cult. Let the people leave. You got 10 people want to leave, and you still trying to hold on to those 10. Why you still got millions all over the world? Let the 10 people go. You've got millions more still kissing your butt. So let the 10 go. Like the idea that you can't see your family. I'm peas and carrots here. What are you doing? People coming up missing. Y'all, it's almost an insult to our intelligence. The fact that Shelley Miscavige has not been seen in the public view for 20 years, but the LAPD is talking about we can confirm she's alive and safe. How? And no one dares to ask them how. How did you do that? If you laid eyes on her, what makes us believe that you're telling us the truth? Who has to believe that you laid eyes on her if you can't show us a photo or a video? No one's obligated to believe them. And in any other situation, they would have to provide evidence. Why are they so scared of this Scientology thing? Why are they so afraid of them? Scientology want to be bullies, they can go be bullies somewhere else. I don't understand why they're still here in the U.S. Why don't they just go buy some land in another continent, go to Greenland, and then you can start your own little country. Go take your coat to Greenland, and then you can have your own laws and rules. You don't have to worry about our U.S. Constitution getting in your way. Make that make sense. They don't want to abide by our laws and rules here in our nation. Go create your own. Wouldn't that be easier to do? Why live here in the U.S.? They made enough money to where they can take that whole thing to Greenland. Who owns Greenland? It's covered in ice. Who owns Greenland? They can just go on to Greenland, go occupy Greenland, and get on somewhere and start their own little thing there. They come up with their own laws and rules and regulations. If they decide to be their own country, the U.S. will not be bothered with them. You can't make this up. Let's see here. Writer says, thanks, appreciate the shout out. I'm currently starting a media tour tomorrow during Oscar season and award season. Talking film, keeping busy. Shout out to you. Y'all, is Oscars here already? Good grief. Fran says, up until 2013, they couldn't get married in their churches in the UK. Wow. Caleb says, sadly, cults will probably claim freedom of religion as though that legitimizes them. Yeah. GB says people have given their entire finances, assets, and time off their lives to this cult. I'm sure most wouldn't know how to get out, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because they embed themselves into it, invest themselves into it to where they feel like they're going to lose something. But let me tell you something. Sometimes you have to lose to win. You're talking about something materialistic like some money. That doesn't pay. Listen, there's no comparison you could have over freedom. Being free in your life, being able to move how you want, live where you want, do what you want. No amount of money can pay for that. You understand? There's no amount of money you can ever say you're gonna miss out on that can compensate for that freedom. You want freedom before that, all that money. You can always go out and make money again. Get free. You'll have the best sleep you've ever had in your life, knowing now you don't have to look over your shoulders and you can be left complete alone. But when the bully think they have the power, they continue to terrorize and be the bully. You put the bully down in his place, and you remind the bully that they bleed red blood like everybody else. So maybe the Thetans bleed purple blood. Who knows? Then they start understanding the power can dwindle. If people conduct themselves as if they're afraid of them, and I'm talking about people online, independent journalists and reporters, people who have done content about this, if you start acting like you're scared of them, they'll continue to have the power and be the bully. They don't like freedom of speech and expression, they can get their asses on up out of here. Why do words hurt them? That's my thing. Look how cowardly it is to sit here and to try to shut down somebody because you don't like what they're saying. Who cares? You're supposed to have more confidence in it, right? You're afraid of some words because they hurt your feelings. Heck, child, please. Produce Shelly Miscavige. How about that? If they get the power to feel like they can just shut down people online, if people embolden them to think that, they'll keep doing it. When people start standing up and start reminding them that they don't have to live here in our country and abide by our laws, particularly the First Amendment, then they'll probably start packing up and going to Greenland. Who owns Greenland? I am curious about that. Denmark still administers Greenland. Oh, okay. Well, they can go buy Greenland from Denmark. Good luck to that. They got the money. And then they can take their whole operation to Greenland. All the people in Scientology can go move to Greenland. And then the ones that want to stay, they get to stay and live in peace. Yeah, it's so crazy. Cults are insidious. What's going on, Monica? How you doing? Cults are so insidious and evil. I will never understand how people get sucked in. It is harder to understand, why they stay or go back. That to me I think is the hardest part. But that's how much of a control and a hold they have on people's mentality, on their mind. You can control someone's mind, you can control their decision making. And then you can control and manipulate them to think that what they're doing is wrong by trying to leave this dumb cult, as opposed to them enjoying their own freedom in this lifetime. They feel like they're indebted and enslaved to this cult. But then the cult get mad when you say that it's a cult and that they control people. Let people go. Like they don't care when it comes down to it. They just want people to believe something. No one owes them that. No one owes them belief in something when they don't want to actually make the decision to give people their freedom and independence. When it comes down to actually letting people go out of the cult, they don't want to do that, but they want people to believe that people have the right to choose. No, they don't. No, they don't. Cults are very controlling. And it's unfortunate. And they only think about themselves in this. This is so crazy. Let's get back to it, y'all. So I can drop that link and then you guys can come up and share some of your thoughts at the end. Let's get back to this. This one is almost done. And then we got the one that's coming up next with Leah Remedy.
I mean, I am proud to be somebody who started exposing Scientology early on when it was still really hard and scary to do so. Like, it was really scary. And, you would hear that they would sue people into oblivion. I mean, they would try to separate us from our families. So I am proud that I exposed them and that I told the truth about them, even when it wasn't easy, even when it was hard. It's hard for me to look back and see myself as a kid. But when I picture my kid going through what I went through, that's the only time I can be objective. And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, that is messed up. And Scientology is evil. And people need to know about this. That's what sort of motivates me.
What a Scientology agent will do is they'll get a list of everybody you know. They will then contact every person on the list. We found out some really interesting things already. I was told when the head of the harassment division in the UK defected, that they'd spent £2 million harassing me up until that point.
Okay, you all. So this next video is, hold on a second. Pause. This one is called The Dark Side of the Scientology Cult Endeavor documentary. Make sure you guys go check it out. Let me drop the video link in the chat. And this one is hosted by, or there's a portion where Leah Remini comes in and asks questions and kind of give her thoughts on it. But let's get to this one, you all. I haven't seen it all. I've seen some of it, but I haven't seen it all. But I wanted to sit down and watch it with you guys so y'all can understand other people's perspectives and how many documentaries are out here regarding Scientology. There's so many videos about it. Let's get to it. See? Right here. Policy violations. What? Y'all, this is something else. This is not copyrighted. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Can y'all hear me now? This is not copyrighted. That video was not copyrighted. See, that's how they do. They don't want people to talk about it. We're going to keep talking about it. They can kick rock. Y'all, you can't make this up. So this video, I made sure it is not copyrighted. It's not copyrighted at all. And I even sent you all the link. Can y'all hear me? Oh, child. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me? I just refreshed. I don't know what happened. I just literally refreshed the page. Okay, can y'all see here? Can y'all hear? The Scientologist got me. Oh, so what they reporting this as a false report. So then I'll appeal it. All these this video here, this is Endeavor. This is not copyrighted. We're watching a video on this channel. Funny how the video is up itself. The video we're watching is up. Y'all see this? Endeavor, this channel. This video is up. So if this video is up and not copyrighted, Why are they taking out my stream from this video that's still up? This video is still up. We're just watching the video and reacting to it. You can't make this stuff up. It still says I'm live. That's what I'm saying. What is going on? They would have to lie like hell to try to report my video when I'm watching another video on a channel where this video is clearly still up. I didn't see anything about this being copyrighted at all. Free documentary. See that? Free documentary. Nothing in here is copyrighted. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. And this video itself that we're watching is still up. Yeah, make that make sense. That's so crazy. It still says I'm like, yeah, that was crazy, right? Insane. We're watching this video. That's still up and running. So if anybody want to report anything, you think they will report the actual video, not my stream where we're watching this video. That's a free documentary that is not copyrighted. Y'all, this is crazy. And this goes to show how widespread it is too. It's in other countries. One of you all said somebody's right-hand man died. Hold on. Okay. Hey, Tammy. How you doing? Is YouTube run by Scientologists? So how much did y'all miss? Yeah, that was insane. My internet is fine. No copyright, nothing. Exactly. Who will report? That's what I'm saying. How they gonna report this? They will have to lie like hell to YouTube. Didn't one of you all said someone that was speaking had died? He was the right-hand man. Hold on. I'm trying to go up in the comments. That's Mike. He's dead. He was in the hole for 2 years. Davy's right-hand man for years. Who? Which one was Mike? Mike Render? Is that Mike Render with the black shirt on here? Or is this Mike Render here? I thought he was speaking another language. I'll tell y'all what, because there's so many videos. Let me see. I want to do a Leah Remini. I want to do a video where she's speaking. Not a super long one, but something that, you know. She went on Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz might be copyrighted. Oh man. Stephen Covey, I think that might be copyrighted. Y'all, this is something else. Scientology, a history of violence. What? Let's see. He passed away last year. This is Mike Render. He passed away last year. Y'all. Let's check out the Tommy G one. We'll do the Tommy G one. Y'all, Tommy G went there in person. It's something else. We'll check out the Tommy G one because that video is not copyrighted at all. Y'all saw it was a free documentary. Endeavor lets people watch their documentaries. They can't sit here and strike somebody's live stream of us watching a video that is still up on another channel. How dumb is that? They would have to strike the channel where the video is. It's so stupid. You can't make this stuff up. Oh yeah, he had cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey Beth, how you doing? Shout out to you. Hope all is well with you. S-File said I see email screen. Okay. Cause I'm like, what is going on? Y'all see something I don't see? It says stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations. It's still going. What policy violations? They didn't even say. I didn't get an email. I didn't get nothing. You two need to stop being some punks. Every time somebody reports something, they want to see here. Oh, we'll just go with that. No investigation, no nothing. They just go with it. They need to stop being some cowards. They need to actually look into things and see, okay, is this a policy violation before we just take down somebody's live stream? Some clowns. So we'll check out Tommy G and then I'll drop the link so you all can come up and talk and we still gonna discuss it. And if people inside you don't control over here, kick rocks. How do you watch a video and you take down the live stream of us watching it because you don't like what I said, but you don't take down the actual video on the channel where it is? It's the dumbest stuff ever. Child boo. Tell David Miscavige he can still kiss my ass. Can't make this stuff up. What policy violation, y'all? They do the worst. Mike was really a fighter against. He was fighting against Scientology. LLC, that's Big Blue in LA. Old hospital falling apart. Okay. This is where Tommy G went, you all. This is educational stuff. Exactly. The documentary we were watching from Endeavor, free documentary. They let content creators and independent journalists use their content. There's no copyright to their stuff. That's what I'm like, what policy violation? You got some clown that got mad. Kick rocks. You got all these other channels that's got up Scientology videos and stuff. And those videos are still up. Child boo. You're not supposed to like what I have to say, Scientology. I don't care for cults. Child boo. They ordered something else. I'm on my phone. Your stream was not taken down here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't even see anything. All right, y'all. Let's check out Tommy G. He went to this location here. I think he did go to Clearwater as well. And they called the police there. But let's get into this one. Put a 1 in the chat where you can see it here. Let's go.
How would you define Scientology?
What a family destroying human trafficking cult. When you die, it's just your body that died. You as a Thetan just jump into another body.
So I was born in Scientology. From the very first breath that I took, I was in the billion-year contract.
Pledging themselves lifetime after lifetime for 1 billion years.
Pat Harney, you gotta relax. This is public, right? You open it up. All are welcome. Whoa. Wait, where is the private property line?
You need to leave right now.
Don't
It's
touch
private
me.
property.
Don't touch me.
It's private property. You need to leave right now.
How's this your treat? Yeah, we can help you get out if you want to.
Get out.
Don't
You're
touch me.
trespassing.
Where's the line?
Okay.
Where's the line?
Now you get out or I'm going to use it.
Y'all, that's crazy.
Before I begin exposing one of America's most notorious cults and reveal to you what they do behind closed doors, first let's get you up to speed on what this religion is. Scientology is a religion that was started by L. Ron Hubbard, a man who also happens to have the Guinness World Record for being one of the most published science fiction writers of all time. It's a bit of a complicated religion, so bear with me, folks. It's based on the premise that a galactic overlord named Xenu brought billions of beings to Earth millions of years ago, chucked them into volcanoes, exploded them with bombs, and created creatures called Thetans, which essentially is this invisible spirit that attaches itself to you and is responsible for all of the negative things in your life, ranging from anxiety, addiction, emotional pain, and more. And the only way to remove these pesky Thetans from your body is to follow L. Ron Hubbard's foolproof process. His methods involve paying boatloads of money to the church for courses called auditing classes, and even signing yourself up for a lucrative billion-year contract to the church. This cult has a shocking list of charges against it made by former members who allege the following. From the age of 2 on, you sometimes saw your parents only once a week.
Yeah.
I remember we had one nanny, she was like 16 years old, and she was like stuck with like infants. Like,
It was, that whole thought process pretty much just stopped at the point where I was like, I don't know what to do about this.
In order to investigate this religion for ourselves, we head to Scientology's 2 main hubs, Clearwater, Florida, and Los Angeles, California. What we find is a world guarded by secrecy. We have numerous clashes with church security. We hear heartbreaking stories from former members who were born into the religion, and we observe how Scientology has put a stranglehold on the city of Clearwater. Folks, truth is the most powerful weapon we have against lies, manipulation, and corruption. This is what Scientology does not want you to see. Folks, before I stick my boot up Scientology's ass, I got an announcement for you. These sweatshirts that have sold out many times, we finally restocked. We also have a gray version right here, a new colorway, and also one of my favorite t-shirts you ever made.
Stick his boot up Scientology's ass. That was awesome.
I want you to see. Folks, before I stick my boot up Scientology's ass, I got an announcement for you. These sweatshirts that have sold out many times, we finally restocked. We also have a gray version right here, a new colorway, and also one of my favorite t-shirts we ever made from the Underworld collection on the website, TommyJimmyD.com. See you guys there. Between Clearwater and Los Angeles, this is where Scientology is primarily located. We're going undercover to start this operation, and we'll be boots on the ground here in Clearwater, Florida. These guys get $50 a week. They need a union in Scientology, huh?
It feels like we're in like a nuclear testing town, almost.
But look like the Scientology people on the roof right there, maybe trying to sign $1 billion contract to Sea Org for $50 a week.
I have been helping people who have been abused with Scientology.
This is Mark Bunker, a journalist, activist, city councilman, and Clearwater resident who spent over 2 decades fighting against Scientology. While many others would fold under the harassment and intimidation campaign that the church used on him, he has refused to be silenced. We pick him up and drive around Clearwater, and he helps us navigate Scientology's territory. Is there a place where they're a gathering place where they want to bring me in to tell me more about it?
There's a welcome center. This is the Hacienda Gardens, and this is where the Sea Org members live. They sign a billion-year contract to work for Scientology. The trees are going to cover up one area or level until, boom, right here. Apparently, Miscavige lives behind those trees.
We would be kept up all night and sleep for a few hours under our desks. Basically, any little sense of joy that you had, there were people marching around trying to take it away.
My name is Jenna Miscavige, and I was born and raised in Scientology, and I left when I was 22 years old.
This is Jenna Miscavige. She was born into Scientology and is the niece of David Miscavige, the man who seized power of the church in 1987 after L. Ron Hubbard died and has ruled the church with an iron fist, allegedly, ever since. This is kind of like if Kim Jong-un's niece fled North Korea, lived to tell the tale, and we got to interview her. In Scientology, her life was tightly controlled. She endured intense indoctrination, physical labor, and emotional manipulation. Here's what she had to say.
When I was 9 years old, I did what Scientology calls a purification rundown, where I had to be in a sauna for 5 hours a day. Yeah, and I would get like bloody noses even, but you have to keep going until you achieve whatever it is they want you to. Like you have to voice something that's the result of that program, or else you have to keep doing it, basically.
Well, my name is Serge. I grew up in Scientology.
And after surviving a period of horrific neglect as a child, the church began to groom him to be a rising star of their auditing team. Auditing, by the way, is one of the main exercises of this religion. It's the practice of someone getting relentlessly questioned until they are able to release painful or traumatic thoughts that they may be holding on to, believing that once they do that, they can free themselves of this negative baggage they are holding on to. This is his account of what he experienced.
The kids go from the very bottom of the org board, which is like the maids, the ones that are like 14-year-olds doing the beds of the adults that are booking rooms at the hotels, right? They recruit all the little young ones because they can have them do anything.
As a 12-year-old, basically, they put me into full-time training. So I was basically studying full-time. In Scientology, they would just call it an auditor. And then at one point that switched where I changed to be training to be the person who trains auditors.
This is Aaron Smith-Levin. His mom got him into Scientology at an early age, and after being pushed to drop out of public school at only 12 years old, he spent most of his waking hours working for the church. Now all grown up and free from the cult, he is one of Scientology's most active critics, known for his YouTube channel Growing Up in Scientology.
I worked full-time for Scientology from the age of 12 to 26. I was taken out of school to work full-time for Scientology. I never went to high school. I don't have a diploma or anything like that.
Aaron's brother and I become like these like child prodigies that David Miscavige and Shelley were very obsessed with because we completed the metering course and got a license. We were the first kids that were able to read the e-meter.
For reference, an e-meter is a sort of primitive lie detector that Scientology uses during auditing sessions to see if you are telling the truth. If an e-meter indicates to an auditor that you may be hiding something, even your darkest secret, you will be questioned again and again and again until you reveal that thought.
Perfectly on a video and get a pass by Shelley Miscavige, which was like the biggest deal in the world at the time.
You weren't just born into any family in Scientology, the Miscavige family. Of course, in attempting to get both sides of the story, we sent multiple interview requests to Scientology to speak to David Miscavige or a media representative. But due to the disastrous feedback they get when they do speak publicly, the church quite simply does not do interviews. In fact, David Miscavige has only done one interview with a journalist, with Ted Koppel back in 1992.
You realize there's a little bit of a problem in getting people to talk critically about the Church of Scientology, because quite frankly...
You see, here's the thing. This is why they don't do interviews, because they don't want people to know that they're a cult. It's that simple. Look how they're trying to come after my live stream while I'm watching a video from another channel. It's the dumbest thing ever. No. Let's not have the video taken down. Let's have the live stream showing that video suspended. What the hell? It's the stupidity for me. They care more about their image than they care about what's actually going on. But that's the mindset of a cult. It's the narcissism, their ego, their pride. They care more about a PR strategy than the fact that people are actually being subjected to kids sitting in saunas for 5 hours to the point where she's having nosebleeds. Did y'all hear that? Can you imagine your child going to school only to find out that the teacher is forcing them to sit in a janitorial closet for 5 hours in the dark with the heat up until they have nosebleeds? Can you imagine that? Think about that. Your child going to school, they're supposed to be learning and getting an education. And the only thing that's happening is they're being forced to sit in a hot room until they have nosebleeds. It's absolute torture. It's absolute torture. Cheryl says this was the last interview little Davy did. Tom Cruise's last interview was horrific. I'm sure it was. The e-meter. Yeah, he called it a primitive lie detector test. It is primitive. Y'all saw in the other video, it was like somebody holding 2 Coca-Cola bottles. It's extraordinarily primitive. The science behind it, it's not how an actual lie detector test operates now. It's more electronic with advanced technologies connected to a computer. And then they're looking for physiological changes, not based upon some, electric conduct going through your body sort of thing. No. It's more that goes into it with the lie detector test. So even the explanation of how they use this is extraordinarily primitive. It's not any real science behind it. It's just a matter of let's just sit here until we see something move. And until we do, you're lying or you're keeping something. That's it. You don't need a machine to sit here and just falsely accuse someone of lying. Put the machine down and you can just sit there and talk to them and, act like a fake wannabe psychiatrist and tell them they're malingering until they start spilling the beans. I mean, you don't need that machine to do that. But it's the stupidity of Scientology for me. Let's take down a live stream video where you have 30, 40 people watching. Not the actual video itself on the other channel with millions of views. These folks are crazy. Yeah. It's insane. What was that video so I can continue watching it? These people are literally monsters to these kids. That was on the Endeavor channel. Let me go back. Because I had it saved. Let me put this in my... Because I know I can watch Tommy G. He doesn't mind. I used to be a Tommy G clipper. My second channel was that. So I know he's good with the video. This video we were watching is called Endeavor, the Dark Side of Scientology. Like, this video has 781,000 views and it's been up for over a year. Full documentary. You all see that? No, they want to try to put a policy violation on my live stream for watching this free documentary that has no copyright. Make that make sense. YouTube doing too much. They're catering to these idiots and it makes no sense. There's no way YouTube detected this as, oh, it's a policy violation. How? Where the video is still up on that channel. It's just ridiculous. It's y'all. God. All right, y'all. Let's get back to Tommy G. He's got 6.5 million views in 9 months on his video. 6.5
Miscavige or a media representative. But due to the
million views in the past 9 months on his video. And they want to put a policy violation on my live stream for showing these videos that are free. Make that make sense? YouTube, y'all need to go somewhere and sit down and kick rocks. This makes no sense. 6.5 million views. If that doesn't show that people who are interested in learning about what's happening in a cult in 2 major cities in our country, I don't know what it is. People want to know what's happening with this dumb cult. Little minions are going around you targeting the wrong channels. You got 6.5 million views on this video that's been sitting up for 9 months on YouTube. The other one has 781,000 views. It's a free documentary. That video is still posted up. It's been up for a year. Coming from my live stream while we're watching these 2 free videos is absolutely futile. When the videos themselves are still up. Kick rocks. Can't make this up.
The disastrous feedback they get when they do speak publicly, the church quite simply does not do interviews. In fact, David Miscavige has only done 1 interview with a journalist, with Ted Koppel back in 1992.
You realize there's a little bit of a problem in getting people to talk critically about the church.
Yeah, GB said, if you ever get caught up in these little e-meters, for those that are in the cult, you want to get out, just go in and start farting. They won't know what hit them. Let it be one of those silent poops. It's a deadly attack. They're not going to sit there and breathe in your gases from your body. Whatever gives you the bubble guts, beans, ice cream, sherbet, fruit, vegetables, celery, whatever. Cheese, dairy. Just go in and be as flatulent as you can. I'm telling you, it's the body's best defense mechanism. Poot. Then you gotta sit there and just let them bask in the ambience of your gases. I promise you, they will speed that thing up. Everyone be like, wait a minute. Passing gas? Yes, I am. I'm gonna keep going. It's gonna get worse the longer I sit here. just so you know that as an FYI. You don't want me to go to the bathroom? I'm going to keep farting until you pass out. I promise you, you will. Oh, man, I promise you, you're going to pass out. Y'all, it's called the fight or flight response. I'm telling you. Your body has a way of trying to get itself out of sticky situations. What? All right, y'all, let's keep going.
Of Scientology, because quite frankly, they're scared.
Oh, no.
And since then, and for over 30 years, he has been radio silent except for totally scripted and bizarre Scientology-made media that looks like this.
Whatever you have heard, if you haven't heard it from us, I can assure you, we are not what you expect.
For a man that rules Scientology like a big tough guy, little David folds like a lawn chair when it comes to any sort of accountability or questions from the public. But there may be a reason for that. Here are some of the allegations against David.
You have written a whole book about your son, and you've called the book Ruthless.
Yeah, a very, very aggressive style and a tendency to violent outbursts that are physical in nature.
And to give you an idea of what type of guy he is, just look at what he did to his own parents that left Scientology. He and the church published hit piece websites about his parents, claiming his dad to be nothing more than a pots and pans salesman who punches his wife, and also adding that he lied about his book, saying that he was not in prison, he was not starved, and he did not have to escape from the church. And then he made his stepmom out to be a lying gold digger who wants to exploit her stepson for fame. My guy Keegan did some digging and found out that after David's parents escaped the church, they eventually settled down in West Allis, which is only 10 minutes from us in Milwaukee. He FOIA requested West Allis police records and found that Scientology paid a private investigator $10,000 a week to tail his dad and give hourly reports on his activities and whereabouts. This private investigator was found with a gun, silencer, and over 2,000 rounds of ammunition in his trunk. Stalking people with private investigators is allegedly a favorite tactic of this lovely church and shows you just the tip of the iceberg of how much Scientology tries to ruin your life if you leave the religion or try and speak out against them.
I don't know how many people they squeeze into one apartment. 8 to 12, I believe.
From the outside, it looks like a normal Florida apartment complex. What they are is 2 and 3 bedroom units where you've got like 4 bunk beds in the living room, 4 more bunk beds in each bedroom. Like you could be fitting like 15 people, easily 15 people into a unit. Like it's illegal.
They'll charge you for the apartment, for the food, for this, that, and the other thing. So if you leave, there are people who leave with $100,000 bill or more.
So I was born in Scientology. From the very first breath that I took, I was in the billion-year contract wrapped up because my parents had been recruited to go to the AFA. My parents are from North Mexico. I grew up in appalling conditions in Mexico. The cadet org was disgusting. It was like 100 kids. I remember we had one nanny. She was like 16 years old and she was like stuck with like infants. Like my sister also grew up there. And I remember still like her being in a crib, you know, like with full of urine, like no care for the babies at all.
Folks, we gotta emphasize what we just heard because it's so crazy. Imagine this, dozens of babies in a room, many of them crying, needing to be held, sitting in their own dirty diaper, and just one overwhelmed teenager caring for them, allegedly. It's sickening, and the reason, allegedly, this is done is because good old L. Ron Hubbard basically believes that babies should be treated like adults and they don't need any special sort of care or attention. From the age of 2 on, you sometimes saw your parents only once a week.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
So my parents worked for Scientology's most dedicated group called the Sea Org, the Sea Organization. They signed a contract pledging themselves lifetime after lifetime for 1 billion years to servitude to Scientology. It meant that they worked like 115-hour weeks. They got little to no time off.
Kids that were born into the Sea Org were taken care of by nannies. They didn't see their parents. They were lucky they saw them for an hour a week.
What are the benefits of doing all this? Why would someone devote their life to this?
When you're doing it, you think that you're dedicating yourself to an amazing cause. You think that you're like saving mankind, and it's sort of like the greatest purpose you could have.
And our parents were in this mission to save the world, right? It's like they're all like stuck in this like, you know, job that they were doing for Scientology that they were prioritizing over their newborns, basically.
Well, they really believe they're saving the planet. This is like a mind control factory.
We wanted to get our feet wet with Scientology, so we went to their welcome center where they were selling the Diagnetic books. And I happened to know after doing some research that a lady named Pat sat at the front desk, and she was actually a media liaison. So I thought she'd be a good person to talk to. Here's how this mission went. Good morning, good morning. Oh, I'm a travel vlogger.
Here we go, y'all.
Oh, I'm just a travel vlogger. Pat Harney, you gotta relax. This is public, right? You open it up. All are welcome. L. Ron Hubbard. And who is L. Ron Hubbard?
He is a science fiction, Western fantasy author, born in 1911 in Tilden, Nebraska. He is a guy who lived an amazing life, but was a pathological liar and a con man. He basically created Dianetics as sort of this like poor man's psychotherapy, and then a few years later created Scientology.
Hey there, how you doing? I'm just trying to buy a book, sir. And why does no one here answer questions?
Come over here.
Can I buy a book first?
Private property, you can, but you can buy it out here.
Are you like a leader here?
Please come outside.
Are you a Sea Org member?
Can you please come outside?
I will come outside if you can answer like 3 questions. I would love to come outside.
Come outside, please. This is private property.
Hey, Elron. All right, Pat, have a good day. I wish we could have talked more, honestly.
Hey,
guys, they're not really open to the public anymore. We have their Agent Smith coming.
Can you come up?
Oh, no. Agent Smith, what got you into Scientology? Oh, sorry, I'm just... Hold on, I'm standing still. He's taking a picture. I'm trying to pose. I don't want it to be a blurry photo. The house in the gardens, what time?
Look how stupid he's acting. Why is he acting like a child? Do you want to see this? This guy came out of nowhere and just walking up aggressively with this camera. Yo, this is This is how they act. This is how they act. I mean, like clowns. They acting like children. All they had to do was, he was like, can I buy a book first? And Tommy G doesn't care if you record him or take a photo of him. He understands that. He understands that's the nature of his business. Look how this dude comes out of nowhere with this camera, y'all. Like he's being so intimidating. They don't scare nobody. This little Oompa Loompa comes up with this camera like he's some secret agent spy. It's laughable.
Are you a Sea Org member?
Can you please come outside?
I will come outside if you can answer like 3 questions. I would love to come outside.
Come outside, please. This is private property.
Hey, Elron. All right, have a good day. I wish we could have talked more, honestly. Hey, guys, they're not really open to the public anymore. We have their Agent Smith coming. Oh, no. Agent Smith, what got you into Scientology? Oh, sorry, I'm just... Oh, I'm standing still. He's taking a picture. I'm trying to pose. I don't want it to be a blurry photo. The house in the gardens, what time do you think I should be by later? Like, you guys do cookouts or anything like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I bet you guys would actually enjoy
our website. Check out our TV channel, okay? Fantastic.
All right.
Y'all, they're taking over Clearwater.
They answer no questions. I wasn't allowed to buy the book, which I would have bought the book. I met Pat at the front.
Your PR person.
Oh, she's the PR person. No one would answer even one question.
Of course not.
Next, we went to the infamous flag building to see if we could infiltrate and see what was going on inside. Unfortunately, a call to the Clearwater Police Department had already been made, and as soon as I touched the doors, I turned around and saw the police waiting for me. Looks like the police may have been called.
What?
And are following us.
There was a call on a van, a suspicious vehicle, so.
A suspicious vehicle?
You guys can film on.
Y'all see how they run the entire city? Police just following them as opposed to solving real crime or seeing what the hell is going on inside the building itself. You know, I think a child sitting in a sauna for 5 hours to get nosebleeds would be more important than them following Tommy G around. And he ask him if he's scared. He ain't scared of them. Y'all, this is something else. Look how the police are acting. From a cult that does not pay taxes. They don't pay taxes. So they add nothing to the revenue of Clearwater, the city or the state of Florida. They don't pay any federal taxes. They pay nothing. And yet somehow they get to control and dictate a city on U.S. soil. Make that make sense?
You want, but just don't antagonize them, I should say. Otherwise, they're going to do a criminal trespass on you. So that means if you step foot on any of their property, you go to jail. It's silly.
Well, right now, I'm really just trying to talk to one Scientology member that'll answer.
Good luck.
Y'all, that's so crazy.
What is it like living in a city that's dominated by Scientology?
It's horrible. When we see them, they're marching in line like zombies, you know, down the street.
What do you think about them owning $200 million worth of real estate?
I mean, if that's what they want to do, and they're not hurting anybody else, as long as they're American citizens.
Well, they bought that whole block.
What?
2 blocks, I believe. And across the street, too.
They pay their taxes.
They're tax exempt.
They don't pay taxes.
No, I disagree with that. Elon Musk needs to get on that. It needs to be looked at, investigated, and someone to make a good decision on that. And that's going to be President Trump.
Nobody knows anything.
Is the town trying to do something to...
The commissioners are, but what can you do?
Scientology started secretly buying up all the property downtown here in 2017.
I was working in the hotels, I was doing demolition, I was doing construction, I was doing HVAC, and I was there with several hundred kids from all over the world. I was working 7 days a week, 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, 365 days a year for 4 years.
So a lot of it was training, a lot of it was cleaning, and we did like laundry and clean the rooms of executives. So they would like inspect with a white glove to make sure that we didn't miss anything.
Exactly, as follows. They're hurting people, refusing to let people leave when they want to leave, and yet they pay no taxes. They're on U.S. soil. They don't care about anybody else's constitutional rights, freedoms, or protections, or our U.S. laws. And people say, "Well, they're Americans. They can do whatever they want." No, they're not paying taxes. They're not aiding to our revenue and economy. They're not. Talk about money hungry and full of greed. That's it. That's what this code is. They're not stimulating the economy in Clearwater. No, they're buying up the police. They're buying up people to have in their pockets that work for them and them only. So they do nothing that help the people that live there. So if you live there, you should be a lot more concerned. They're not looking out for you all. They probably wouldn't even care about law enforcement if they figured law enforcement could not actually come in and help them. They wouldn't care. They would have their own law enforcement, and they would tell Clearwater Police Department to kick rocks. Seriously. Let the police department get a police chief that's not going to be paid and bought by this dumb cult. I guarantee you they will create their own law enforcement, and then they will just tell Clearwater to kick rocks altogether. There's a cult taking over that does not even add to the economy of the state of Florida. And they're only doing things to benefit themselves, not everybody in Clearwater. Not every resident or citizen in Clearwater benefits from Scientology. You just don't. Now, unless they are paying people's mortgages and giving away money and free turkeys and meals and clothes and shoes and all this other stuff, offering free education. Unless they are doing those things in the community, send me the information and I'll be corrected. But if they're not doing those things, then they're not doing anything to benefit the residents of Clearwater, Florida. They're only trying to benefit themselves as the cult. They don't care about the rest of you all living down there. This is crazy.
Tom Cruise gives all credit to Scientology for his success. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise because he's Tom Cruise, not because of Scientology.
Every single window is closed. Mm-hmm. Every single blinds that you could see into is closed at a certain level until it ends. They're very don't look in here type of a place.
What was going through your head when your parents decided we're going back? Since my whole entire family was connected to it, it never left us. So we were still kind of like exposed to my relatives, all my aunts, all my uncles, all my cousins, everybody. I signed a billion-year contract, and now I'm there for the rest of my life. And my pay was going to be $50 a week. So I was like, oh, damn, I'm 10K in debt, $50 a week. I'm like, okay, I guess I just have to really make it here.
When I was 12 years old, I was moved across the country here to Clearwater, and my parents were still in California.
Any part of you say, something's not right here, something's really wrong.
I don't think that second part added into it. Not like there's something really wrong. It was, that whole thought process pretty much just stopped at the point where I was like, I don't know what to do about this.
Even the higher ups, like, yes, they had some things easier, but that's really mostly at the top. I feel like Scientology is like a game of power, and everybody has to report on each other, and that's how you get to the top, is essentially by throwing other people under the bus. That's the only way you can feel important.
The way to happiness, this used to be the Lisa McPherson Trust. This is where we had our offices, right next door to Scientology's OSA, Department of Office of Special Affairs, was right there, the dirty tricks people, right through there. That was my office right behind these windows here, all locked up. They don't want anyone to see what's going on in there now. Now that they know your cameras are here, this entire several blocks of front groups are shut down.
One thing that comes to my mind when I walk past all these empty buildings that look like they're fully functioning offices, but no one's here.
Right.
It's like North Korea. It's like a very staged play that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Yet when you look, just peek a little bit behind the surface, like there's no one. All the windows are shut. There's no sunlight coming in. There's no one here. Look, they make it look like someone just had a meeting in here. Or let's see if there's a front desk right here. This is an office that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, this is an office that should have at least a front desk worker, if not an employee. None of this has anyone in it. No city on earth feels the negative effects of Scientology quite like Clearwater, Florida. Some fantastic reporting by the Tampa Bay Times reveals how the church has taken over the city. In 1975, the church purchased the Fort Harrison Hotel and made this their headquarters. Over the decades, the church began acquiring real estate at a ferocious pace, scooping up property after property. Since then, they've poured hundreds of millions into more than 200 buildings, owning the majority of the Clearwater downtown. Mind you, this is with tax-free money because somehow the IRS lost their balls when confronting the church, ruling in 1993 Scientology to be a tax-exempt religion. The weird thing is, they've left most of the buildings buildings vacant, turning Clearwater into a sort of North Korean ghost town. The question is why? Insiders speculate it's because they want to show a dominant presence, but the truth is they simply do not have the numbers of people to occupy these buildings. And it's no surprise. Their peak membership numbers were before the internet, but now that their practices are widely publicized, they are unable to recruit new members and are slowly going extinct. But even as a dying empire, they still have a great deal of power over Clearwater, and they are crushing the businesses in the downtown. Just take it from Tony, a local entrepreneur who is facing dire financial circumstances because of the church.
So this is obviously our place. We start off with the Nash keys, and between like bureaucracy and stagnation, we had harassing phone calls about us not being part of the community, to get out of the town, even death threats later. But it took us 3 years to get these places open, 1.5 years of permitting. More walls than you can imagine were being put up for us, but we got open.
When you say death threats, tell me more about that.
Death threats meaning like poisoning, harassing, to get the out of the town. That
someone tried poisoning you?
No, they allude to that they're going to poison me.
Describe what's happened to this block over time and how Scientology has impeded local business.
The way they actually affect it is that the negative stigma that has on it, the overbearing control and presence that they portray. They like to portray like a sense of unity that is disheartening to most of the community.
Is that their boss behind us?
Absolutely. They're more organized than our government.
And their bus windows are blacked out.
Yes, they have very weird things that they do. I've seen a bunch of strange things. This is it. It's a two-story club.
It is nice. And in the evening times, I've seen this place just booming.
If you want to fight against the empire of Scientology, come into this local business, spend some money, get a cigar, get a drink, and meet this handsome fella right here.
Let's take back Clearwater.
Yeah, that's just so crazy here. Didn't I just say that? They don't benefit the residents there in Clearwater. Citizens are not being benefited by this cult. They're trying to shut down local businesses, trying to run them out of town, and for what? They bought up all those properties and then they end up being vacant because now they can't recruit like they used to because it's a cult. You know, we bless God for the advancements of science and technology. Well, we can just go online now and then watch all of these wonderful videos about people who are going boots on the ground like Tommy G, Leah Remini, the documentary we were watching, where they're willing to expose this stupid cult and how it benefits no one but themselves. They're not doing anything to open up its doors to the community. They're not trying to keep the residents happy. They don't help the citizens of Clearwater. They do nothing. And then they have the audacity to run away potential business to help money come flowing back into the city. So they put their own foot in their own mouths. If they were smart, they would let other people have businesses which would attract more tourists and more individuals. And then maybe they can get out into the community and talk to people. They can't do that because of their own narcissism. Because they're too dead set on trying to control somebody and their live streams. They're not smart enough to actually recruit. Yeah, let's chase everyone away. Let's chase everybody away. Potential customers, clients, business owners, chase them all away. We control this, but then now we're mad because no one's occupying our dumb buildings. Make it make sense. You can't make this stuff up. So if y'all do go, y'all make sure y'all go support that business owner. It took him 1.5 years to get up and running to start making some money. And I'm sure they had to go to court. You can imagine if they got the courts bought off and paid for, how horrible it is. They seem like they the type, this cult, that would go after like judges and stuff. If judges rule against them, they would go after judges and not care about federal laws. You can't make this up. No fear of our, of our justice system. They don't care. Why should they get mad when someone vocalizes how they feel about them? If they don't care, why should I? I could care less about how Scientology feel. They're a cult. And they're not helping communities at all. So all the residents there should be in an uproar. Y'all should be out there protesting them every damn day. Every day. They don't pay your bills. They will not add to your community. They will not help increase, schools. They're not going to give your kids free education. None of that. They're buying up buildings and then they're turning them into abandoned bando properties. Imagine Scientology being like a bunch of Umars. The Oompa Loompa Johnson multiplied by how many ever, with all these bandos around talking about FDMG is coming. Just imagine that. And then go out and protest them. Fight back. Take your city back. Clearwater. Take your city back. Push this dumb cult out. Tell them to go move to Greenland. Get it from Denmark and move to Greenland. They can take their money over there. I'm sure Tom Cruise would not mind funding them to move to Greenland. And take back your city. They do nothing for you. This is crazy. Let's get back to it, y'all.
$1 at a time, like you just said.
Do you remember what feelings were going on in your head as a 5-year-old that led to the paint thinner?
We had no one to go to. Like, there was no adults around. Like, all the adults were compromised. So in 1986, L. Ron Hubbard ends up dead. And because they had seen that a lot of people had left the Scientology because they were treating them so horribly, they would always come back with this amnesty. We're going to forgive you for all the suppressive acts you committed. If you come back, if you write them down, then we'll forgive you and then pretend they didn't happen. So that's when my parents got wrote back in. They said, you're suppressive because you blew because your child almost died. Oh, no, we're going to forgive you for having left without permission.
To really see what's going on in Hacienda Gardens, we got a drone operator that's going to show us what's happening and also show us their real estate holdings. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. Big fan. It's crazy.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, if you could go over to where the pool is, then that will help orient me a little better. It's like if you
want to turn around?
Yeah, straight up
Oh,
there.
it's a training area. Okay.
Yeah, and go to the end. That was where.
Right here?
That was the end one, yeah. And my mom.
That was the penthouse suite there?
It was just 4 condos, and there would always be a security guard posted, sitting across the way.
What the hell?
That should be won't let me go lower. That's weird.
Do you think it's a blocker?
That's the only thing I can think of because they'll let me go up, but it won't let me go back down to where I was.
Interesting.
It's really odd.
And you lived in these apartments for how long?
For about 4 years.
I lived here for a few years as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember which block you lived in?
Y'all see that compound?
One of the last ones was this one right here.
And you really can't get out unless they let you out. Like, we would have to come out and tell them what we were doing. Like, if it was on one of the mornings where we would do cleaning, and if we wanted to like go to the gas station or something like that.
Like even going for a walk
That's the
outside?
thing, like a normal apartment complex.
No, this is crazy.
You know, the magnetic doors. You know, like if you have gates and magnetic doors, usually you can get out. You might need a key to get in. You cannot get out of this apartment complex without a security guard letting you out.
Is that D block? Why can't I read it? Yeah, that's D block.
Okay, so I lived here in D block.
Yeah.
Like
so
towards-
interestingly, they actually turned the camera away from us.
Oh. Anyway, so I lived at the end of D block in like the lower levels. They actually had fixed these ones up to be a little bit nicer.
Would you be surprised if they had vehicles patrolling?
I'm sure they have vehicles patrolling.
Is it that? Are they that paranoid?
Yeah. I mean, David Miscavige takes his security as seriously as a head of state.
The car's getting in. Let's get in.
Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Here we go.
Hey, we're meeting with David Miscavige.
Here we go.
Hold on, please, sir. I just want to ask a question to David.
They're trying to get on the compound, y'all.
Sir, please. Oh, sir, ow!
Geez, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 cameras on us right now.
How long were your parents out before they went back in?
What was this? Like maybe like 3-4 years. Then L. Ron Hubbard dies. They go back to Mexico. They get recruited back in again.
Was their life terrible outside of Scientology?
My grandparents were chill. My grandparents were normal people.
So what would have possibly motivated after they escaped and had freedom for 3 or 4 years?
Scientology caters to a narcissistic personality because the thing is, it promises superiority. It promises you're going to be better than everyone else.
Did you ever get to confront your parents about that or ask them, are they still in it?
No, my parents aren't in Scientology anymore, and they think Scientology is horrible, and they've said that it's like the biggest regret of their life.
How was it escaping Scientology?
Well, I guess the thing is that in Scientology, you know, at certain levels of management, they actually won't let you leave. Like the area will be surrounded by gates and they won't let you out the door. If you manage to leave, they'll chase you because when you leave, people who are in Scientology are no longer able to speak to you. You can't get a job at a Scientology company. You, like in my case, I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have a bank account. And so your livelihood actually getting a job depends on you being connected to these people, or you lose every family member. And so while you can just walk away, that's like totally deceiving. You risk losing everything that's important to you if you do.
I got it in my head that we wanted to storm the Celebrity Center, which is the place that the highest ranking and most influential Scientologists go. Actors like Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and businessmen like Grant Cardone. So I wanted to see for myself what was behind these walls. Here's how that went.
They finna stop the building.
Whoa. Wait, where's the private property line? Where's that line?
Guys, it's private property.
Is that
on the sidewalk?
Oh my God, he's on private property.
Right on the sidewalk.
No, but
You're on private property.
what makes it worth selling your soul for $1 billion years?
Just move to the sidewalk. That's
Does
what we're
Tom Cruise know that you guys work for $50 a week?
All we're asking is just move to the sidewalk. You need to move out here.
Oh, whoa.
Does Tom Cruise know you work for $50 a week?
Why are you bumping behind me? I mean, this ain't a Nelly song.
We need you to move off. You're on private property, sir.
How do we talk to someone from Scientology?
You guys need to leave right now. Get off the property. Get off the property. You're trespassing. You need to leave right now. You need to leave right now.
Don't
It's
touch
private
me.
property.
Don't touch me.
Private property. You need to leave right now. Leave right now. It's private property.
All right, we'll be back. We'll be back.
Sir, just need,
Are you guys pushing me?
Stop pushing me.
You push me?
I see you're on private property. We just need to move off here.
I don't have anything against you. I'm just curious. You can escape. You so can leave. Like, to think that you would work 80 hours a week, what makes it worth it? Are these security guys there? Are they Scientologists?
Oh my God.
Yes, they're actually some of the most important Scientologists. Have you ever heard of the term OSA? That's the Office of Special Affairs. Sort of like Scientology's FBI, CIA, Secret Service all in one. So they do all the dirty work. They're very high ranking.
Dude, what would have happened if we had a fist fight?
That would have been good content. That's 3 of them.
This is William Jude. When I told Aaron Levin-Smith I was headed to LA to further investigate the church there, he said you got to meet up with William. Known for his work battling the church on his YouTube channel Scientology Audit LA Streets, William has spent months documenting and battling Scientology. Together, we go on a mission to infiltrate the church's LA stronghold.
Ooh,
So my name is William Good.
Y'all remember that YouTube
I'm an
channel?
activist out here. Had a beef with Scientology a couple of years ago, and they said some really crude things to me.
What did they say?
A security guard told me to suck his cock. So I thought that was kind of crude. So I said, I'm going to end your religion. And so here we are. So they're working 110 hours a week for nothing.
They're literally slaves.
They're slaves. And a lot of these people come from other countries, right? So they bring them here on religious visas. And then once we get here, they take their paperwork away. So now they're stuck.
Should we visit one of their plantations?
Sure. Let's go for it.
Let's go.
All right. So let's just drive by there real quick so I can just go show you how to go about doing
Y'all
it.
remember that YouTube
Then park
channel?
a few blocks away.
Scientology Audit.
If you walk in with your cameras, there's no chance. Because when I come walking down the street, I have to hug the wall so they don't see me. The minute she sees me, she goes, they will literally run in there and close the door.
We got our guy, Cheddar, aka Texas Buzz, back for another investigative piece. You may have seen him in the sex, money, murder piece in Dallas, where he infiltrated the prostitution ring. Now we're sending you.
If you watching this video right now, Scientology always say, you clowns do nothing for the people of Clearwater, Florida. You're not even trying to be economically helpful. I'm going to need you to learn about copyright laws as well. I mean, reading doesn't seem to be your strong point, but whatever. Stop being a bunch of babies. If you want to hold people hostage, learn how to take some criticism. Everybody will not like you. I don't understand why you want to occupy U.S. soil and not just take your coat over to Greenland and go buy it from Denmark. And then you can start your own nation where no one will care. Tom Cruise should be happy to fund all of that. Him and John Travolta and Will Smith and all these other celebrities you have. You have money pouring into your cult. Take that money, go buy up Greenland, and then you can go do what you want to do in another country. You can't make this stuff up. Why sit here and drain us here in the United States of America? If you have no regard for our laws or our Constitution, get your asses out and go and create your own laws in another country. You can't make this up. Oh, and as always, feel free to kiss my ass. Can't make this up. You want to get mad? It's a bunch of babies.
It's Scientology, man.
Yeah.
How you feel?
I don't know too much about this, so I'm just gonna go in there and be genuinely curious, like what's going on.
I think that's the perfect approach. It's gonna be similar to the Clearwater bookstore, so we want to get a fresh perspective. So, Jenna, good luck on your mission.
Gotcha.
And
Scientology
no torture on the way there. Just take it straight to the wall, okay? Go get him, Jenna.
Jenna can. I wish they would rush the compound. Please let that happen.
Doors are locked. Doors are closed.
Oh, they shut the doors.
Yeah, so they realized. They're no joke with the things.
What happened there?
No, nothing.
They just closed the
the doors.
Did you see him close the doors?
No.
They already had him closed.
They already had him closed.
This is Dre. He's one of the editors on my team and has been with us for a few months cranking out videos. In making this piece, we found out that he actually had joined Scientology for about a week. Here's what we learned from him.
I'm Dre, and I almost joined Scientology. It was back in 2020 that I took a trip out to LA. Being in the area, you always heard about Tom Cruise talking about Scientology. So it was one of those stops I wanted to do. I was just on a regular touristy trip. I was looking at the stars, and then they got people in suits always just walking down and forth closer to the Scientology building. So that's where they got me. Initially, when you go into that building, they have their showroom. So that first half that I stepped into was the museum part. And they have posters, TVs, small little like segments of like who they are. And then once you go into the back room, it looks more of an office, but like higher end office. They have their cubicles. They'll bring you into one of the cubicles and start talking to you. It felt like therapy. The whole time they're very personable. So they're always looking at you. It feels like they actually want to get to know you. We were in there for, I want to say like 4 hours. They emphasized me coming back. And they kept on saying like, oh, well, how long are you here till? You know, could you come back tomorrow? We can like do more things. So they took me from the initial consultation, I'm gonna call it, and then they pitched me well, you know, we think you'd benefit from this first seminar, which is this book right here. I got this book during that seminar. So if someone was leading the course, they showed us videos, we talked about it, they made us like write. So it was a full blown, you're interacting with the person teaching us, and then the videos they're showing us.
Was that the last time you went? Like, did you ever return to Scientology?
I never went back, but I know that I continuously get emails and I still get letters sent to me.
Is that Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Crosshauer. She's like their main.
I just popped in their work.
That is Jennifer.
That is Jennifer. Can we talk to her?
Try to.
The lady William spotted is Jennifer Crosskopf. She is Scientology's chief legal officer, even though it's unclear if she even has a license to practice law. She's the one in charge of things like getting restraining orders on protesters and personally signing all legal documents between the church and the city of Los Angeles. We jump out on foot to try and speak with her. Jennifer, can we talk to you a little bit? How's this Sea Org treating you? We can help you get out if you want to. Jenny!
Stay off the property, you're trespassing.
Where does it start?
Nope.
Wait a minute. I'm missing something.
So, let's go. Get out. You're the fuck out. Get out. You're trespassing.
Where's the line?
Okay.
Where's the line?
They don't even know she has her license to
but
practice
I know
law.
that I continuously get emails and I still get letters sent to me.
Is that Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Crosshauer. She's like their main.
Did y'all hear that?
I just popped in their work.
That is Jennifer.
That is Jennifer. Can we talk to her?
Try to.
The lady William spotted is Jennifer Crosskopf. She is Scientology's chief legal officer, even though it's unclear if she even has a license to practice law. She's the one in charge.
She don't have a license to practice law? So Scientology wants to sit here and stalk people's YouTube channels, and you can't even ensure that your so-called chief legal officer has a license to practice law because you have no regard for our laws here in our country. You could care less about whether or not someone has a license to practice law, but she has the audacity to take legal action against people. Kick rocks. You think they would just say, okay, listen, let's make sure that we have real attorneys. If you can't confirm these people have licenses to practice law, they're not real attorneys. They're not even, if at best, if they went to law school, they're lawyers, but they're not real attorneys. If they can't practice law, no one cares about what they think or how they feel. That's how it works here in the United States of America. You can't make this stuff up. Y'all, this is crazy. She want to do that because of mopping? Is it what's that guy's name? John Mappin? Is he what is he in this? He's all over Twitter X kissing Candace's ass. That's why I'm telling you all. It seems like Candace is a part of this. She has some guy on X.com that, I mean, when I say simp hard, he's a simp for Candace Owens. You can't tell me that she's not somehow entangled up in Scientology right now. Listen, supporters are supporters, right? But this dude simps hard for her and defends her, takes up for her. He's met her, allegedly introduced her to others, and he's in Scientology. To me, I'm like, Candace, you might as well come out and say you're a member of Scientology. I find it very unbelievable. This John Mapper person who's supposed to be a high-ranking Scientology individual can't somehow influence or recruit Candace Owens, as gullible as she is. Isn't he involved with Farmer? Yes, he's in the UK, is he not? Francisca is John Mappin in the UK. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Melinda, yeah, I don't know much about Mappin, but he's a billionaire who is, from what I've gathered, is into some strange stuff. Yeah. He pushes out a lot of information about Scientology over there on X. He a billionaire, but he won't buy an island for Scientology to have his own island. Can't make this up. Miss Kim protests there every week. I wish students would put a sign in the window of office next door to the org. It's a cult with an arrow and notify all parents. Exactly. What y'all? This is something else. They said Scientology is for narcissists. That's Candace. Yep. You got trying to shut down somebody's live stream from a video that's been up for over a year with thousands of views. Get the fuck out of here. These clowns are trying. I don't want you to hear. You got somebody that's trying to act as an attorney, and we can't verify if she has a license to practice law. Make that make sense?
Charge of things like getting restraining orders on protesters and personally signing all legal documents between the church and the city of Los Angeles. We jump out on foot to try.
She's signing legal documents between this cult and the city of Los Angeles, and LA is okay with that. Government officials are okay with that. They won't remind her, look, girl, we've got armies. We got the military. We've got the National Guard. We can deploy. Don't F with us. You don't have a license to practice law. You shouldn't be signing a damn thing. It will be null and void. It will be moot. It will be invalidated. You don't have the authority to sign these documents as someone that is a legal representative of this cult if you don't have a license to practice law. Could Scientology not just for once get someone that has a license to practice law? Why is that so difficult for them? And they got all this money coming into this cult. They can't find a real attorney. Make that make sense? That's insane.
Jennifer, can we talk to you a little bit? How's this T-Org treating you? We can help you get out if you want to. Jenny!
Stay off the robbery, you're trespassing.
Where's the start? Nope. Can you tell me what the line is?
Private property.
Is she running?
Yeah, get the fuck out. Get out. You're trespassing.
Where's the line?
Okay.
No. How fast did that lady book it?
Church in the city of Los Angeles. We jump out on foot to try and speak with her. Jennifer!
I don't see her.
Can we talk to you a little bit? How's this T-Org treating you?
She
we
ran
can help
in
you get
here.
out if you want to. Jenny!
Stay off the robbery, you're trespassing.
Where's
She ran in the building.
Can you tell me what the line is?
Private property.
Get the fuck out. Get out. You're trespassing.
Where's the line?
Okay.
Where's the line?
Pepper spray. Now you get out, or I'm gonna use it.
That seems like a crime.
Let's see him be aggressive.
That's a little pussy move.
His ass out.
A real man wouldn't need pepper spray. I would love to see the inside. Has any footage really been captured on the inside?
Through the windows, but every time we film through the windows, they try to prosecute. You notice something?
Yeah, there's something.
No windows are open, right? Shades are down everywhere.
So with the internet, it's almost impossible for them to recruit.
Yeah.
Before the internet, when information wasn't exposed, it was a cool hip Hollywood thing. All the LA people were doing it. Monkey see, monkey
Bar
do.
Association.
But that ship is sailed.
Yeah, the Celebrity Center. The reason they bought the Celebrity Center is that was going to be their main recruiting spot. That's where all the stars are going to come hang out.
I
You know
know,
what?
they don't have
I want
one.
to be part of that. That's cool. And they give acting classes there for free. Hell yeah, I want to go there. Little do you know, it's not really an acting class. You're just being recruited in. But now, because of information, all the younger generation knows. They're like, oh no, that place is a cult.
What was the moment that drove you to the point where you said,
child.
I got to get out of here?
It's hard to just say one moment because so many things happened throughout my life, so many things that were horrible, so many things that should have been the moment. But it was after a period of time where I had been on a Scientology mission that was in an area where it wasn't as so rigid as the base that I had returned to after, where they weren't letting people sleep. They were like, if you were to fall asleep during an L. Ron Hubbard lecture, they would make you they would first embarrass you in front of everybody by screaming at you, and then they would make you scrub the dumpster.
So they make you pay for an interrogation that if you don't want, they just gonna force on you. And then what? I'm just curious. So when people get out and they try to send somebody a bill, I mean, I would just ignore it. What are you gonna do? Report it to my creditor? Oh no. If I don't handle anything, if there's no way you can garnish money, first of all, what would that look like? Them trying to garnish somebody's check for an interrogation they forced on you. I don't have to pay for your dumb interrogation like that. Why are they doing that? And then they get mad when people want to leave the code. You should want them to leave the code if they can't pay for your interrogation, right? Or else you're doing this interrogation, you trying to bill them for this BS. They don't want to pay it, now they owe you money. As opposed to you just saying, okay, you don't have to do it, then get on and we kick you out, and that's it. Obviously, if you can get Tom Cruise and John Travolta and Christy Allen, you can get some gullible people that have money to stay in this code. Why not just get their money? They got money, they're rich. You trying to charge somebody $2,000 for an interrogation in Scientology. And if they don't want to pay it, then what? You can't go to court and say, well, we forced them to this interrogation, so they owe us the money. No, you could have just not done the interrogation. We're not going to order them to pay you this $2,000. You shouldn't have forced it. Yeah, but yet again, we're talking about Scientology. They don't think that they have to abide by our laws in our country. You can't make this up. Why don't they just leave again?
With a toothbrush, and we weren't having any time off at all. So it was just getting more and more strict.
What made your parents leave?
They were at Scientology's international management base, and so they were witness to a lot of things that were going on there, including my uncle David Miscavige, who's the leader of Scientology, like physically beating
that's crazy
staff.
work, Caleb.
Like punching him?
Yeah, like punching in the face. And my parents themselves were separated from each other for many, many years.
Exactly, Monica.
This is a loaded question, but do you feel robbed of your childhood?
Yeah, actually, I do often feel that way. I mean, I don't like go around being angry at it all the time. There was a period when I first came out of Scientology when I was angry at certain things that happened. But honestly, once I became a mom, I actually started to get a little bit more angry about my childhood because I didn't know.
What's your prediction about the future of Scientology?
These stories of how Scientology treats children are going to come out more and more, and people are going to be disgusted by them. So I feel like the more stories that come out into the public, the more, whether it's a legal battle that takes them down or just like a public relations or both, it's like nobody will join. They'll eventually be bled dry, and hopefully they have some legal battles that they lose as well, and it all comes together.
To show you how full of lies and manipulation this church is, just check out this 911 call they made on this.
Hey, Northeast Unit 45966, just left 1306 Elron Hubbard Way, Church of Scientology. CPR 10, direct to suspect 45, no whites, no further suspect vehicles.
They claimed we burglarized the church and fled the scene in our rental car. Here is us saying hello to the LAPD when they reported to the scene.
They're pointing at us.
There! So apparently the LAPD showed up to the scene.
Just park right here and just walk up.
Give my regards to Xenu, okay? Thank you. One thing to question is this. When there are repeated calls to a location like there is with Scientology, typically a city will label the property a nuisance property, which means the property in question must correct their issues or face legal action from the city. So why is it that Scientology can blatantly lie, allegedly, and disproportionately use city resources without repercussions? And keep in mind they are doing this as an entity that does not even pay taxes. All right, folks, that was a look into the world of Scientology. If you'd like to see more of William's stuff, his Instagram and YouTube is tagged in the description. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey. Don't join a cult. We'll see you next week. And my final thoughts is I send my regards to David Miscavige. Peace. Folks, after seeing all this, you might be wondering a few things. Like, number one, why in the fuck has the FBI not kicked down this place's door, raided them, and gotten everyone responsible for child neglect and the other insane behaviors allegedly arrested? The other thing that comes to mind is how in the God's green earth is this place tax exempt after amassing a multi-$100-million real estate portfolio? I guess I'm going to start my own religion so I can get rich too. Folks, I don't have all these answers, but what I do know is this. If you send me other leads to cults, churches, people that need investigating, I will go boots on the ground. So send me leads to TommyGMcGee123@gmail.com and I will report for duty. I love you guys. Fuck Scientology and see you next week.
I love it. Yo, oh, Tommy G. This was awesome. Do you hear me? awesome. Y'all tell me your thoughts. I want you all to hit this link if you want. Come up here and tell me your thoughts. Let's chat about it, y'all. Let's get some music going. This was insane, okay? Insane. You got somebody who might not even have a license to practice law that is signing legal documents to the city. And like Tommy G said, the FBI should have kicked in a lot of doors. We have an army. We have the National Guard. We have tanks. What are we doing? What are we doing? They don't really benefit us overall. They don't pay taxes. So it's not like they're really helpful to us. If they give money to these politicians, they're putting it in the pockets of the politicians themselves. It does not help any constituent at all. I think Florida needs to start, determining whether or not the people running for office, starting with the governor. Do you have any ties to Scientology? If they're lobbying you or giving you money, you are not going to be our governor. We don't have time for that. That's how that need to be. Y'all, this is something else. This was so good. Shout out to Tommy G. Scientology Audit is another one. I guess we're going to have to save that channel because that one, man, he has some awesome content over there. Scientology Audit. Oh, yeah. LA, Streets LA. Y'all make sure you go check him out. Okay? Make sure you go check him out. Let me make sure I put in the link to that video. Like I said, you guys, this is the opportunity for you guys if you want to come up and talk and just give your thoughts about what we've just, watched today. Yeah, your thoughts on Scientology. Like Tommy said, F them, honey. They don't, only so much power they can have. Do you all think that this John Mappin person could be influencing Candace into Scientology? Because I think he is. I don't know a grown man that simps that hard. Candace has a following. She is useful. Absolutely. I don't know a grown man that simps that hard for somebody like Candace Owens. And he's not getting anything out of it. Think about it. He's definitely building up his following by having the association with her. But if the goal is, let's pull in these people that are, they consider to be useful, they got money, they have influence, they're just as narcissistic. Candace wants to be a dictator. I mean, come on. You think she'd be able to go into Scientology and be that submissive? She'll be the one to tattletale on somebody, but if somebody tattletale on her, how y'all think that's going to go? I'm just saying. Mappin is in Britain. He is. Imagine this. Because they do these tattletale reports, right? They got to report on everything. Imagine someone filing a report on Candace Owens. And this person is a celebrity with just as much money. And Candace cannot talk about it on her show. Think about that for a second. Yeah, how would that go? Yeah, that's something else. Candace won't let them control her life. She probably not. Y'all know she's not, submissive to anything. Not even George. You can imagine the drama. Candace would be so much more worse than what Leah Remini thinks she went through, right? Like they consider her to be the rebel. No, Candace would be the destroyer. Because then they would tell her you can't go on your show and talk about, another Scientology person filing this report on you. Yeah, it would be, oh my God. Man, that's something else. It seems like they are, you know what? That's a good point, Monica. Candace's followers could be primed for Scientology because they are believers of hers. Yeah, they'll believe whatever she says. That's why I'm saying to myself, like, Candace would be the perfect example for Scientology because she already has a following, a cult following that will believe whatever she says. I'm just curious to know how would it go if she has one of those reports filed on her, and then if it's from like another celebrity that's got a lot more money than she does and just as much influence, how would that go? How y'all think she would act? And then they tell her, no, you cannot discuss this on your channel. You cannot do it. Y'all, this is something else. She would lose her mind. Candace does not get out from her basement. How reporters follow her? I don't know. Who said who had to report follow her? No. They don't have to follow you now. Let's say she said something wrong on her show. That's a report by itself. They report on every little thing you say and do. And then she gets that little tattletale report. And now she's going in and they're telling her, you got to pay us to do this interrogation. How y'all think that would go? It would be interesting for sure. Monica said, oh, she definitely would spill it. That's why I said, I'll see if I can find them and get the titles for you. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Caleb says, Campus already talks about being an alien. I wonder where she got that idea. Exactly. Y'all, Candace is Xenu. Xenu. The boy girl warrior princess. Candace. When she said she was an alien, we said, okay, we're going to go with that. You're not fooling nobody, Candace. If you want to go to be Scientology and go into that cult, it's like a cult leader combining her cult with another cult. Now it's cult to the second power. You can't make this up. But they still can't make sure that people who are calling themselves the chief legal representative actually has a license to practice law. What? Candace can just give them one of her 3 attorneys. She's got 3. I mean, you know. Y'all, this is something else. Once again, you guys, if you would like to come up and share, you can. If not, listen, this has been awesome. We're going to keep at it with Scientology. This cult, kiss my ass. Just like any other cult. I don't believe in the idea of controlling someone. It is unimaginable to think, oh, we don't believe in God. We just believe that a mere mortal is God. While you're filing reports on each other because somebody sneezed too hard at a wedding reception dinner table. Oh, you wanted to switch seats? Nope, that's a report. You kidding me? You can't make this stuff up. That's how they act. That's how they treated Leah Remini. She wanted to switch seats at the wedding reception for Tom Cruise, and they lost their mind. That's why I said Candace doesn't have to leave her basement. It could be just dumb things. Oh, Candace said this. Here's the timestamp in this video. Now she needs to come down here for reprogramming. Y'all know she wouldn't go. They kick her out. They probably kick her out. I'd kick her out. John Mapper would be so mad, Candace. This is ridiculous. Melinda said, what's sick is average Americans get reported to CPS for nothing and get harassed, but you report them and nothing happens. Exactly. And they can't show proof of life for someone who hasn't been seen by the public in 20 years. S-File says, I saw one documentary where they took a woman's kids and out them in the compound somewhere, but she didn't know where. What? Fran says, Scientology are a nuisance. They try to infiltrate local councils, etc. in there. They have their bases, and because they think they're above the law. Yeah. That's why they infiltrate the government, because they want to have some power and influence as opposed to them just creating their own damn government in their own country. They want to just infiltrate ours. Like, no, get your bum asses out of here. Go to Greenland. See how it works over there. You all dealing with Denmark. Leave the United States of America alone. I don't understand this. You want to be a cult, but you want to exist in a country where we have sovereignty and military forces. Like, why would you want that? The right to bear arms. There are more of us than there are of Scientology. I just, I guess they forget how numbers work. There are more of us. There are more Americans than there are of people in Scientology. We outnumber you, Scientology. You don't have a military backing. You don't have that. So if it came down to it, and Scientology decided to declare war against the United States of America, we're whooping their ass and we're going to be done with it. And it's not even going to take long. Like, that's how quick it would be. Go to your planet. Somebody said CEO phone home. What's the U.S. house? One of y'all say Jenna's on his phone home. Go to your planet. Scientology would never win if it came down to them versus the entire U.S. We have armies. You can't make this up. That's why I don't understand why the FBI, while law enforcement seems to forget that they have a sack and a spine, and put their foot down. Put their foot down. These celebrities want to sit here and fund something. Fund a whole packing and a movement to another country where y'all can do what y'all want in y'all own country. Scientology, Candace Cult members, all y'all can go over there to Greenland. And then you all can make it happen there in your own country off of U.S. soil. Goodbye. We don't need you. She's officially now being. I know I've had it done to me. CEO phone home and go home. Please leave us earthlings alone. Exactly. Oh, man. Let's see here. Y'all, we have more that we're going to check out in the next video we cover regarding this cult from Jenna Miscavige. Like I said, she does have her own YouTube channel. Now we've got another channel to check out, Scientology Audit. Oh, this is going to be good. And then let's see here. Jenna Miscavige. I would love to have her on the show. I really would. I would love to be able to interview her. And then, y'all look at this. This middle finger. I told you all. She got a lot of content, honey. I love it. Annie Elise is awesome. So she's done some other interviews. Oh, she's done one with Annie Elise. Yes. I'm telling you all, people are learning more and more about this cult. And we are here for it, Jenna Miscavige. Anytime you want to come over to the Lady Luck Club, girl, come on, you and that middle finger, we'll both raise it. You can make this up. Yeah, that middle finger is epic. Let's see here. We'll get a few more comments in. Francisca says Scientology are a nuisance. They try to infiltrate. Oh, I got that one in. GP says, do you think the amount of money they pump into politicians keeps them well guarded as they buy up more and more properties? Well, if the properties, from what they said in the video, become vacant because they can't keep occupants in it, they own the property. They can just say, well, this is our private property. We don't want anybody on it. But if they're not able to keep people in it, as opposed to the government looking at that and saying, well, we can make better use of this property. You bought all this property up. Your numbers are going down. People aren't really joining at the rate they used to. Now people are finding out more and more what you all are doing. People coming out of the code are speaking out. Can't control everybody. I just, I don't know if it's necessarily guarded because the politicians can only control but so much. So let's say the city decides, okay, look, we can make a lot more money with these properties being sold and then allowing these, small business owners to create restaurants and hotels and all these things, bring back in tourism. Clearwater has a beautiful beach there, so they can, turn it back into an area popular for tourism again. That'll bring out more money than what Scientology could ever pay them. And when it comes down to Scientology paying off these politicians, the politicians are the only ones benefiting. But when the residents start to speak out and say, either you all are going to allow tourists to come back, businesses to come back, or we're voting your asses out. And we mean what we say. And they come up in numbers, they show up and show out at the polls and vote them out. These politicians will start thinking twice, because guess what? They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their money. There's not enough money in the world Scientology can give these politicians to keep this city abandoned and looking run down like it does. At some point, they're going to have to start making some decisions. Maybe we let Scientology buy some properties, and then the rest we say, nope. We got small business owners. We got to bring back tourism. You all aren't doing that. And there's hardcore facts to prove it. You all aren't helping us boost up tourism. Taxes are not being paid. You're tax exempt. No, we got to boost the revenue in the economy here in our city. And if you're not aiding in that, they kick rocks. You're blocking us from making more money. Because if that's what the politicians care about, then they should not want them to buy up all the buildings. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not profiting them anything. It's not profiting the city anything. They're just sitting in these bandos that could be used for anything else. They could have a beautiful boardwalk set up with shops and restaurants and hotels, businesses that can pay taxes, boost and stimulate the economy. You got this beach. They can have so much more going for themselves. And they're allowing Scientology to take over. And y'all heard the 911 call. They lie like hell. They're lying against video camera evidence. Like, that's how stupid they are. They're lying against what's in surveillance camera footages. Thank goodness Tommy G was recording. Like, this is what the politicians are putting up with every day. They sit back and they allow Scientology to cut their ball sack. And unless Scientology starts being forced to pay local taxes, property taxes, payroll taxes, something to help go back to the economy in the city, they're pretty much raking up all this money scot-free and not helping the city that they want to control and take over. That's what's so crazy. It's almost like an insult. So these people have to think, like the residents have to do more. Put that pressure on the politicians there in Clearwater, in LA. Y'all want Scientology to sit here and buy up all these buildings? All y'all got to go. Get out of our country. We ain't got time for this. We're sick of it. They don't want to pay taxes, and you all are scared of them because you're some cowards and some punks. We ain't got time for that. Get out. And guess what? The less power and influence they have, the faster they're willing to leave. And Scientology, next thing you know, we'll be talking about we're exiting the United States. That's music to my ears. That's all I need to hear. Take your coat and go to Greenland. And then you can do what you want. They would rather sit here and leech off of Americans. You got these celebrities giving them their hard-earned money. That's their choice. But then they're holding these cities hostage and they're not paying it to the economy. They kept a business owner from opening up for over a year and a half. Like, that's so crazy. Make that make sense. So the politicians got to start thinking large scale, long term. Yeah, Scientology puts some money in your hand temporarily, but it only helps you as the politician. But you say, you know what? We got to do what's best for the city overall. I want business booming down here. Y'all not doing anything. Y'all not opening up a museum or a theme park or something. Boardwalk, shops, restaurants. Stop threatening all the business owners. Get the hell on. Like, they're not telling them that. So they're going to let them just keep their city hostage until the residents start fighting back against those politicians and then voting their asses out. And then they finally say, we're taking back our city. And if Scientology doesn't want to fall in line with what we, the residents, demand, kick rocks and get the hell out. You don't have to be here. You can pick somewhere else. I prefer Greenland. I prefer they just leave U.S. soil. That's just me. This is how you be America first, people. But the politicians got to start thinking like that. And if they can't, vote them out. Vote them out. Yeah, that's man, it's so crazy. Good question, GB. Good question. GB says, I wonder if they are paying taxes on the land they are buying up. I don't think they are. I think they're not paying taxes at all. They do not pay property taxes. There you go. Francisca says they do not pay property taxes in the U.S. because the properties are designated for religious or charity purposes, allowing them to qualify for tax exemption. They're not even paying property taxes. So, to all of the residents in Clearwater, Florida, are you still convinced that, as long as they're Americans, they can do what they want? Is that how you feel? They're not paying any level of taxes. And they bring in millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. They have wealthy donors. They have celebrities. Are y'all good in Clearwater, in LA, with a cult taking over and not even paying taxes? Are we good with that? Look at Scientology as another celebrity. Would you be good with this celebrity being in your community, not paying a dime of taxes, but they're racking in hundreds of millions of dollars a year in profit? And you can't even walk past their building without them lying to the police, law enforcement, about you walking past their building. Y'all see what I'm saying now? Put it in that perspective. Imagine Scientology is just another rich celebrity. I don't think Clearwater, Florida should be okay with this rich celebrity not paying any taxes because they want to lie about being a religious sector. They're a cult. Think about that. Get their asses up out of there. It's more of you all than it is of them. Mayo says, I will 100% vote and support you if you ever run for office. Child, I'm not even political by a little bit. Y'all, I can't even stop cussing for 5 minutes. No, I don't see myself in politics, honey. But that's sweet. I am so flattered. Francisca says, it was only in 2023 that they stopped paying taxes on property in the UK for the same reasons. GB says Francisca is not making them pay property taxes. That is the biggest problem for Clearwater. Absolutely. Francisca says that does become a problem, especially if the properties are laying vacant. They are laying vacant. No one's in them. There you go. All right, y'all. I dropped the link. I want to make sure you guys are good. Everybody was able to kind of vocalize and put their thoughts and opinions out there. I appreciate all of you all for supporting me here in the LLC. Y'all, we have so much we will be doing with Scientology and this cult and bringing more awareness. No one's scared of them. Don't let the bully win. They somehow they don't have a spine or backbone when it comes to criticism, like they get to dictate the First Amendment. You better kick rocks. Tommy G, shout out to you. I appreciate all of you all so much. Hit that like button. Y'all share this content. Share the videos. Spread them around. Hopefully, I can reach out to Jenna Miscavige. We'll have her here in the LLC. I would love to do an interview with her and speak with her. So you guys help me reach out to. She's on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't have Facebook or TikTok. Do I have TikTok? I don't think I have TikTok. If I do, I've only used it once. I can't remember what it would be for, but I definitely don't have Facebook and I'm not getting on. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get her attention to get her to come on to the LLC and do an interview with her. I would love to speak with her. And next time we go live on Scientology, we're gonna check out this video where she gave the middle finger. Oh, that's so awesome. Y'all, shout out to her. Y'all make sure you go and support her. Let her know that the LLC has sent you her way. And we're looking forward to hopefully being able to connect with her. Until the next one, you all tune in for 7 p.m. this evening. Collab with Jay Witt, my brother in Christ, going over a video he did with this guy named Peter. He was like obsessed with Candace Owens. Like, you know how, child. So we're going to have fun with that. You guys make sure you tune in and look out for that notification. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.